Alright, hi y'all, my name is Satan herself, and we're doing a PvZ Any % tutorial today. Yeah, I'm in a call with some people from the Fatales Discord, wonderful folks, and so they can ask me any questions that they'd like throughout the tutorial, but I'm also kind of going to be just going if nobody has questions. I'm going to try to make this as kind of beginner focused as possible. There are some strat deviations for certain levels that you could do for beginner versus non-beginner, especially later in the game in the roof stage. But the early stuff is going to look pretty similar no matter what your skill level is. So I'll also go over, there are some subcategories of this game that I created for sort of shorter runs. The first one is day through night, and so that just goes through day and night. The first two worlds, somewhere between an hour and 15 minutes and an hour 30 probably for early runners. And then probably closer to hour 30. And then there's day through pool, which adds on pool to that, and that stretches it to about 2 hours 30, 2 hours 45 for early runners. So those are a little bit shorter than the probably about 4 hours that an early runner would take to do an any % run. And I'll be kind of mentioning those throughout and sort of saying, if you're just doing day through night, this is what you might consider to do instead in this scenario. But we are going to be doing just any % in terms of the actual gameplay that I'm going to show. So, yep. I think that's all the important stuff there. To start a run, you go ahead and go into all of the files, and you have to create a new user, because it's a fresh file category. What do we want to call it? Shout it out.
Women.
Women. Love it. That's fantastic. Great. And then you should see this screen with, you know, no goodies, just start adventure. No level. If you're here, then you're in the right place. A little quirk of PvZ is that we do not start timer on clicking start adventure. We actually started on clicking the first pea shooter because the first cutscene is unskippable. Actually, it's technically skippable, but we don't want to force runners to do that. So we just decide to ignore it. So I'm gonna go ahead and click start adventure here. Also, the game doesn't let you start proceeding until you place down your first pea shooter, so it really is the first sort of thing. Hello, girly spider. Welcome in. This first cutscene, by the way, is not pre-rendered. If you have one of the little cosmetic things on for the zombies, it will show in that cutscene, which I think is funny. All right, and welcome into 1-1. So 1-1 is the, I'm just gonna talk a little bit before I actually get started. 1-1 is the only mostly RNG based level in the run, because the zombies are just gonna show up and you're gonna shoot them with pea shooters. There's an optimal place to put those pea shooters, and you just kind of have to like place down pea shooters as fast as you get the sun and click the seed packet as soon as the last zombie drops it. So there's not much skill here. But what I am going to explain during this one is something really, really important and kind of is the foundation for the entire speedrun. So this is, I'll be mentioning this over and over again, but if you take anything away from this tutorial session, this is going to be the thing. The 50% rule. So the 50% rule makes it so that the faster you kill zombies, the faster more zombies are going to appear, essentially. The way it works that's more technical than that is that for every wave that appears, so that's every collection of zombies that appears at the same time, I'll point it out in this level, if you do 50% or more of the damage in that wave, including all the zombies in the wave, kind of cumulatively, you will get to trigger the next wave to spawn. It sort of gives the game the marker to spawn the next wave. It doesn't mean that the next wave spawns immediately. There's actually a little bit of RNG as to when the next wave is going to spawn, even if you hit the 50% rule. But it does trigger the next wave to spawn, so that sort of correlates to the speed. Another thing to note about the 50% rule is that it's not actually strictly 50%, it's about 35 to 50%, so you can actually activate the rule with doing less damage, but if you do 50% or more, you're always going to activate the rule. Except for these two really, really important exceptions that I'm going to mention now and will also be relevant throughout the run. It's not actually relevant in 1-1. This is like the only level in which one of the exceptions doesn't matter, but we'll get into that later. The two exceptions are every wave before a big wave. So that's the wave with the flag zombie where it goes, a huge wave of zombies is about to appear. You have to kill every single zombie from that wave specifically in order to move on to the big wave. And then the second exception is, of course, the final wave. During the final wave, you have to kill all of the zombies on screen. And that is not an exception for 1-1. You still have to kill every zombie. But the big wave thing is not actually true in 1-1. You'll see that here in a second. But all right, that is the like major mechanic. The 50% rule is the reason that this run is doable. It is the reason that this is a really good speed game. And again, I'll be mentioning it over and over and over again. So don't worry too much. I also even have it on the screen technically. If y'all are seeing it, it's on the OBS here. So feel free to reference that anytime. It's the major thing we do here. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and start 1-1. The first pea shooter can go either in the 8th column or the 7th column. The zombies are going to be not walking very far. There's only normal zombies in this one, so the 8th and 7th column are going to be your optimal columns, and then you'll put the 3rd one in the 6th. Technically, the 50% rule, if you're getting it from shooting, will be activated faster if you have closer pea shooters to the zombies, because that final pea that activates the 50% rule will go to the zombie quicker. The only real place that that's going to make a significant difference is all of these early day levels, because we're going to be getting most of our rules from shooting. I don't recommend putting your pea shooters in danger to try to take advantage of that. I did that a lot as an early runner. Yeah, I don't particularly recommend that, but more power to you. I like to just hover my mouse there to pick the seed packet up. Also, in between levels, I will be holding down the space bar to be skipping the little animation of the seed packet in the next level, so that you don't have to deal with that. So remember to hold down space every single time you pick up a seed packet to advance to the next level. All right, 1-2, there are actually 2 different ways you can approach this level. I will recommend the one I'm going to show you here for early runners, and that approach is just shoot zombies as they appear on the screen. Luckily, the level gives you a lot of time to start planting sunflowers, and you want 4 sunflowers in this level. That's optimal, because, you know, it wants you to be comfy. So you can go ahead and place 4 sunflowers, and then pretty soon you will have the sun economy required to get a pea shooter down. I recommend just reacting to where the zombies are in most cases. The other option for how to play this level is to let the first zombie go all the way to the mower. Mowers are going to be really useful all throughout day because they are an insta-kill for all zombies that they hit. And they also do something called mower manipulation, which we'll discuss next level. But mostly for 1-2, if you're starting out, I recommend just placing the pea shooters where the zombies are and not worrying too much about it besides that. As you can see here, we're getting rules when we have the zombies about, like, where their arm drops off. Where their arm drops off is a little bit less than their health. Than 50% of their health, actually. But it's close enough. Here I'm going to reinforce this one just because this pea shooter's a little farther away, but they're pretty much the same. Something else important to note that you might see affecting our zombie spawns here is that zombies are generally less likely to spawn in a row where they've spawned recently. So I was pretty sure we were going to get a middle zombie here because the previous wave only had a zombie on the top and bottom row. And that can be really, really important, especially in certain later night levels called prediction levels. I'll sort of bring back spawn, quote unquote, manip in those levels as sort of like a mechanic to pay attention to. But that can kind of help you decide where to put pea shooters in this level because it applies to the final wave too. So yeah. It's not that deep. Don't think about it too hard if you're just playing this for the first time, but, you know, it's a mechanic to note. This was an unfortunate one, too. RNG wasn't the best, but that's okay. Also, the speed at which you put your sunflowers down does directly correlate to how fast you're going to get sun back. So you definitely want to try to be doing that as fast as you can. All right, welcome to 1-3. 1-3 introduces 2 really important things. The first thing is this cherry bomb plant here. This is going to be our first instant plant, and speedrunners absolutely love instant plants, so get used to them, get comfy with them. We're going to be using them a lot. The reason for that is because they can, well, instantly kill zombies, and that's going to be really helpful for getting our 50% roll going. All right. Cherry Bomb also has a 3x3 explosion radius, meaning that it would kill any zombie on screen in this level, pretty much. And we're going to be using that for the final wave. The cherry bomb has a pretty long cooldown, so we can't use it all that close to the final wave. We're gonna have to use it kind of in the middle of the level here, and I'll elaborate on that when it comes up. But you're also going to notice that another thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be letting the first zombie go to the mower. There are two reasons for that. The first is that that gives us more time to put down sunflowers, which we want to do in this level because we're going to need money to get the cherry bomb. The second reason is because this zombie will eventually trigger this mower. And once again, a mower will just kill anything in its path. Any zombie, no matter its health, no matter what. So we're hoping to get this fourth wave to get a zombie here that we're going to be able to kill with the mower. We'll see if we get it. Nope. A little unlucky, unfortunately. And I'm just going to shoot this one because it's on a row with a pea shooter. And then the next wave I'm going to go ahead and use a cherry bomb on. So I'm going to make sure I have enough money for that. Also going to stop this zombie here so that I can hopefully clean them both up. Pretty good. You always want to use a cherry bomb in this level on the 4th or 5th wave. Wow, nice. You'll also notice that there are no zombies spawning in the middle row. That's because of something that's very important called mower manipulation. What that means is that for 2 waves after, good prediction here, for 2 waves after you set a mower off, the game will not spawn any zombies in that row. So you can just count on that and reinforce your other rows until the zombies are allowed to spawn there again. Luckily, the game gave us a 3 normal final wave there, which we had to kill all of to advance to the next wave. So that was really nice. And now we're just waiting for the cherry bomb to come back for the final wave. That's why we use our cherry bomb in the 4th or 5th wave, is because otherwise we wouldn't be able to get that nice final wave there. And that is 1-3. Those are the 3 simplest levels in the run, essentially. Also, sorry, I've been forgetting to scroll, but here you go. That PowerPoint will be linked in the description and everything. It's already linked in the what's it called? The pinned message in the GOTM learning. If you want to be using this as the any% PowerPoint, seed selection PowerPoint. All right, welcome to 1-4. So you might be wondering, why am I placing my sunflowers in this middle row here? The reason is because of mower manip. Because if you let a zombie go and you get that mower manipulation, then no zombies are going to spawn in the middle row then. If that's the case, then the cherry bomb, which is always guaranteed to hit the middle row because it's a 3x3 explosion radius, would be less effective. So we're just hoping that the first zombie doesn't go on the middle row. If it does, we'll place down a pea shooter, and that's okay. But generally, we'll place our first row of sunflowers in the middle, hope that the zombie doesn't go there. And then I usually place the next row of sunflowers on the top because it's just the quickest one to place down from where the sunflowers are if the zombie isn't walking down the top row. This is a textbook start to 1-4. Just shooting zombies for now. You'll also notice that we have the new plant called the walnut. Walnut is going to allow us to stall a zombie next to that mower for a while. The downside to it, though, is that we do not have a really important tool called the shovel yet. And the shovel would let us dig up that walnut whenever we wanted, but we don't have that. So we're just going to hope, pretty much, that this is the right timing, that when the zombie is done eating this walnut, that we will be fine. Also, you can see here we're taking advantage of this normal zombie split. Because the 50% rule counts every single zombie in the wave, if we kill one normal zombie, unlucky, if we kill one normal zombie and let the other normal zombie walk, we're still going to get that 50% roll. So that's something that you can do to kind of let zombies continue to walk to the mower or just leave them alone and deal with them later. There, I went ahead and cherry bombed that wave 5 conehead because there wasn't much else I could have done about him. That was a lucky bonus kill that we got there. Pretty good. You can also tell a little bit easier what wave you're on without manually counting, and that's if you know about spawn points. So spawn points are sort of like the points that the game allots for each round to be able to spawn zombies. So for the 4th one, that's the first wave that the game allows you to spawn. I'm just gonna have to, you know what? We're gonna do that. That was a tough choice. That was a wave 9 conehead, and if you remember, every 9th wave, so every 9th wave, 19th wave, or 29th wave, you have to actually kill all of the zombies completely in order for the wave to progress. And that was unlucky. We got a conehead there. Oof, very unlucky here too. I should have put down a sunflower to stall. But that's okay. All we're gonna have to do here is we're just gonna have to wait for the cherry bomb to come back. There's nothing else we can do to make this any faster, I think. Unless we... oh. Accidental placement. It happens. Yeah, unlucky. The bottom row was bad, which is quite unlucky because of that sort of spawn manip thing I was talking about earlier. The conehead spawned there recently, so it really shouldn't have spawned a bunch of high health zombies there. But RNG, that's what happens. All right. Hello, Crazy Dave. But yeah, for spawn points, the deal is that the game can only spawn 2 normals or a conehead starting on wave 4, and the game can only spawn 1 conehead and 1 normal, or 3 normals starting on wave 7. So you can kind of predict what wave you're on based on that. Welcome to Walnut Bowling. So Walnut Bowling does have the 50% rule as well, so you are trying to hit 50% of all of the zombies' health to be able to advance to the next wave. That was a very convenient ricochet to do that. The game also values the zombies' conehead hats really highly in this level. So you want to kind of try to focus on those if you can. Here, I know I'm going to get that ricochet. I'll probably need that to complete it. You also see I'm letting some zombies go to the mower down here, which is a really nice thing to do because that will kind of compress our final wave with mower manipulation. And we're going to be able to deal with it a lot easier because of that. Here, I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of those mower kills. And then I'll just advance the waves. Oh, that was unlucky. Killed the only zombie in the middle row, so I couldn't use it for an exploded nut. But there we go. I could have used even more exploded nuts there, but you want to try to leave 1 exploded nut for your final wave, because otherwise you're not going to be able to get it very quickly. Here, unfortunately, I need to clear that guy out to be able to get that. Oh. And then, fortunately, was just a little bit out of range there, but pretty well handled. 1-5, all things considered. You're probably going to get an average of about 3 exploded nuts every 1-5. That was about average. All right, welcome to 1-6. 1-6, we gain 2 really important tools. The first is the shovel, as I was talking about before. So now we can just let zombies go to the mower whenever we want from walnuts, which is really nice. The second thing that we get is we get the potato mine. The potato mine is our cheapest instant plant, so it's going to be really, really useful for us, but we have to be very strategic with it. The reason is because it takes a while to arm. So we actually place potato mines in column 9, even though they could get eaten before they arm, and that's just because it's the fastest thing to do. I highly recommend doing that still if you can handle it. You can also see when that cooldown gets to about the middle of that seed packet on the potato mine, it is going to arm, so you can always keep track of that and know that your potato mine is going to come up once it gets to about the middle there. Here we're going to let a zombie go, same as before, and then pea shooter the second zombie if we can. But now we're sort of setting up these lanes to be defended by the mine, and so that future waves can go quicker. The mine will blow up once a zombie touches it, and it kind of gets about a 1 tile radius, so it does actually have the potential to get multiple zombies if they're close enough to each other. This was an unlikely spawn. It's not very likely to get 2 zombies that spawn back to back in the same row this early, but nice for a pea shooter game. Nice wave 4. Don't need to worry about that. And yeah, why don't we count? Let's do an example of counting. So here's gonna be wave 5, and I'm not actually going to cherry bomb it because we know that our wave 6 is always going to give us a vaulter zombie in this level. Almost every level that spawns a new type of zombie that you haven't seen before will spawn it on wave 6, and 1-6 is introducing the vaulter zombie. There we go. And the reason we waited on the cherry bomb was to get rid of this vaulter, because the vaulters can be really pesky to deal with. All right, beautiful. And we got a nice lucky break on our wave 7 here. We're able to go ahead and use this. to go ahead and get this vaulter off the screen. You also might have noticed I placed a mine right where the mower just went off, and that is a nice safe strategy to do, because that mine will not have any challengers in the next 2 waves that are going to try to eat it because of manip. So you can just go ahead and feel confident about that. I recommend doing that, especially if you are a beginner, because it's just nice and safe. You never have to worry. Also here, it's really nice that I was able to leave my middle row unguarded, because I know that no matter where I place my cherry bomb, whether it's the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th row in this final wave, that we are going to cover that row. Let's see what's going on. Alright, looking good for a cherry here. I was lucky that I was able to cherry there because that mine didn't actually get both of those zombies. But that was a really solid 1-6. Good example of a level right there. Okay, 2 cone heads and 1 vaulter. I'm going to talk about previews now. So preview is what you see at the beginning of a level on the right side of your screen, and it actually does matter a little bit. It tells you the ratio of zombies that you're going to get in the level. The amount of normals does matter. That sort of tells you how many special zombies you're going to get. If you get more normals, then you're going to get fewer special zombies. If you get fewer normal, you're going to get more special zombies. Special zombies being anything that isn't a bucket head, cone head, or normal zombie. And then the amount of cone heads is kind of going to tell you how many cone heads you're going to have. The amount of other things is going to tell you the amount of other things, etc., etc. This was a very standard preview. We had 2 cone heads and 1 vaulter, meaning we're going to have pretty much the expected ratios as normal. You're usually going to have fewer vaulters than cone heads in these levels. But sometimes the game will decide that you have a lot of vaulters, and then that will be a 2 vaulter preview, and you'll be ready for that if you notice it. But previews are kind of a hard thing to track for beginners, so I'm really just mentioning them as a mechanic. No need to worry about them too much at the beginning of your PvZ journey. Down here I'm going to show something off. Once again, this is not something you have to do, especially not as a beginner, but you can decide to get the 50% rule by doing enough damage to a single zombie, and then just dig up the pea shooter and let the zombie go to the mower. If I didn't have 3 sunflowers here, I would have let this zombie go to the mower as well, but it's a little bit too valuable for me to worry about that. I'm going to take this free mower kill because I don't have enough money for a cherry bomb, so I think it's a good time to do that. This next wave is going to be wave 5. I will not use my cherry here. I will use it next wave instead. Also, this is the first level with 2 big waves, and that will actually change how we play it quite a lot. The reason is because we don't have to save our cherry bomb for the final wave yet. So we can actually use our cherry bomb for the 9th wave, if we actually want to, which can sometimes be the more advantageous thing to do. And that's what I'm going to save it here for here, because this wave 7 was pretty easy to deal with without a cherry bomb. This wave 8 presumably will be as well. Yeah, you only really place snow peas to sort of evade pea shooter cooldown. Oh, are we gonna get that vaulter kill? Yes, we are. All right, no need to worry about the cherry then. We just got really, really lucky with our other kills. I did not need to use the cherry to speed it up there, and the cherry is often well used on the big wave. So it's okay to be able to save it for that. You can also do a well-timed cherry to make it so that a zombie does not activate a mine. Unfortunately, there it was even a little bit too early, but that's something that you can do. And now in this part of the level, we're probably going to mostly just focus on placing appropriate pea shooters. And also sometimes mines. If you see a row that doesn't have a mine on it, you can plant it there. I probably, though, should have waited and placed it on the bottom row, because as you can see here, this cone head's blocking up to it. Oh well. Oh, but hey, it armed. Snow pea mine combination can sometimes make that happen, where it looks like the mine would not have enough time to come up, but because you've slowed the zombie down with the snow pea, it actually will. That helped us save a little bit of time. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and place a mine there because some zombies recently died on that row. So I'm gonna gamble that there won't be many zombies next wave in that same spot. There was, but that's okay. I also have a cherry bomb I believe this was the 6th wave, so it's okay for me to do that. Not the 6th wave, the 16th wave, but you know. The wave that is before 4 waves before the final wave. Alright, which would make this the 8th wave. We kind of roll over like that to count, and then that would make this the 9th wave. Vaulters are also nice to use with mines because you can just make them jump the mine, and then the mine is safe for later. Any plants that are useless for the speedrun? Oh, so many plants that are useless for the speedrun. So many. Also, feel free to actually talk. Chat questions are great too. Whatever you prefer. But yeah, so many. We will go over them as we go for sure. There are lots and lots of plants that are absolutely useless for the speedrun. Okay, that mine got everybody, so I'm gonna go ahead and go for that. That was a tough call. The second row and the bottom row both had pretty high health zombies in them, but the second row had more pea shooters, so I decided to make that the one that I would shoot. Pretty good 1-7 there. Let's move on to 1-8. 1-8 is the first level where we have a seed select. It's the easiest one because you just have to remember to not bring snow pea. Sorry, snow pea. Snow pea is one of those plants that is useless when we are not forced to use it. So there's your first example. We are bringing the best friend of this run, and my personal favorite plant, the chomper now. The chomper is a not technically single-use instant because it can eat a zombie and then swallow it and then be ready to eat again, but it's not going to often be doing that the way that we use it here, you'll see. Snow peas are my favorite as casuals. Snow peas are great, I think, if you're trying to play slow and steady. Unfortunately, we just aren't trying to do that. They're way more expensive than pea shooter, which makes it a kind of a tough sell. But chompers are not quite single-use, but they're mostly single-use instances, but the reason that they're so nice is that they have a really fast cooldown. It's not like the cherry bomb, which takes a good while to come back. They come back in like 5-ish seconds. So if you have enough sun to be placing down chompers all the time, then you just you can just go faster, because you can make waves go faster. Great plant. And yeah, that's another inverse from casuals. Most casual players do not value the chomper very much, but us speedrunners love the chomper. Another special quirk about 1-8, we're going to be seeing the Buckethead zombie in wave 6, which is not this coming wave, but will be the next one. Whoa, sure. Remember, you want a cherry bomb in either wave 5 or 6. Good news is, or waves 4 through 6. Good news is we have this nice mower for this Buckethead, and even if we didn't, we could use a chomper for it. You have to have an insta ready to use, though, and mowers are a really good option for that. Here's wave 7. We're gonna go ahead and place a column 8 chomper just so that I can kind of demonstrate the potential wake up. All right, wave 8. We'll chomper the cone head because it's the higher health zombie, and that will make the next row spawn, or the next wave. And then here we have a triple normal stack, which is kind of unfortunate, which means I'm going to have to use a chomper and 2 pea shooters to clean it up. That's okay. Also going to show a fun mechanic here, which is called zombie respeeding. Didn't quite work as I wanted it to. We'll try it again. Okay, you're going a little faster now. If a zombie bites a plant, it will change its speed. And it'll just happen. I know, that's a little bit wacky, but it's true. And here I was hoping for the zombie to get fast enough to get to the mower before I had other solutions to deal with it, but unfortunately it didn't quite do that. So we're chompering it. See how chomper is such a useful solution? One of the absolute best plants in the run. Get used to hanging out with it. Alright, welcome to 1-9. It seems like we have quite the spread here, and I brought pea shooter. That's a mistake. We actually want repeater. Only 1 cone head means we're going to be getting a lot of normal zombies and potentially a lot of bucket heads in this level. A lot of bucket heads and vaulters. So we'll see how this goes. This is our second 2 flag level, and it's going to be our last normal level of daytime. And we are going to actually switch ammunition to our newest plant, the repeater. So repeater will shoot twice as fast as a regular pea shooter, costs twice as much, only takes up 1 tile, and is faster to placed down, basically. It also, like, I think it does do more DPS than a pea shooter, than 2 pea shooters would. So it's good. We want to be using repeater in every level we kind of can. Are there plants that are useful only for very specific levels? Yes. Especially, we'll be seeing some of the gimmick plants later, especially in fog. We'll absolutely do that. All right, here I'm going to do something a little bit different than what I've been normally doing, is I'm going to let 2 zombies go. So unfortunately, one of my zombies spawned on a sunflower wave row, so I decided to place a mine 4 tiles back, and that will always kill a zombie if you place a mine 4 tiles back from it, regardless of the zombie's speed. That is because repeater costs so much money that we want to go ahead and let a bunch of zombies go to the mower so that we can build up sun. Alright, yeah, that was kind of expected, but I already wanted to place a chomper for this next guy. Fun fact, and this is actually going to be very important for the run, and especially in certain situations like the one you just saw there. Chompers will eat faster if there's something in front of them that the zombie is eating. So, because that mine hadn't come up yet, I could place the chomper in column 8. The chomper in column 8 ate quicker because of that, and then allowed the mine to survive. A lot of the time you want to place a mine just, like, where you just placed a thing. Also, making vaulters jump can be important if you plan to kill them with repeaters, like I'm doing here. As I am thinking it is wave 8, and I was correct. And now I want to go ahead and kill wave 9. Sorry, chomper. A wave 9 cherry is just more efficient. Yeah, oftentimes in these 2 flag levels, you do want to go ahead and wait for that wave 9 cherry. Here, I'm not going to put down any potato mine, even though I normally would if I had a potato mine ready at the very beginning of that "there is a huge wave coming" text, because there's just not quite enough time for it to come up if you only get it partway through. Repeaters, 4 tiles back are always going to be able to kill any given cone head, but since there was a cone head in normal there, I decided to reinforce it, because that repeater might have been in danger. If you see a bucket head, always chomper it, or cherry bomb it, if you have the opportunity. Oh, I haven't had a repeater in this row. Good to know. You know what? It's late enough in the level, I'm gonna do something fun and fancy. I'm going to let this row go. We're gonna let these zombies go to the end. Because why not? Alright, there, the mine is helping us out too much for me to justify using a cherry bomb. Alright, but now there's a vaulter on an undefended row. Vaulters are a huge pain to kill without cherry bomb because you have to make them jump first. So, generally we don't like to do that. Yeah, late in the level you can usually be okay with letting some zombies eat your sunflowers because you just have enough sun production already. That was nice. Got a nice free buckethead kill there, didn't have to pay for it. Alright, this might be wave 9, and I would have no idea what is the better chomper here, to be honest. So, we're just gonna let it ride. Okay, nope. And then here's wave 9, which I'm going to make a 2 chomper solution, because it's a little bit faster than letting the repeaters kill. There we go. Now I have a bunch of decisions on where to potentially place my cherry bomb here, so I'm kind of hedging my bets, placing an extra repeater bottom just in case that's the best row to shoot, etc, etc. I'm going to decide on the top row there because the vaulter was going to get away from me and that was going to be a pain. And I could just chomper that single bucket head on the 4th row. Okay. And that's all the normal day stages, so welcome to 1-10. I don't usually pay attention to the preview very much in 1-10 because there's just too many zombies to look at and it goes too fast. So this is our first true conveyor belt level. That means that there's going to be a lot to this. So, first of all, welcome back, Snowpea. This is the last time you will see Snowpea used in this run. Second note, there's actually some manipulation you can do to the conveyor belt, and you should always be thinking about that during every conveyor belt level now, besides 1.5, and 1.5 it doesn't apply. But from here on out, the manipulation you can do to the belt is that if you keep multiple of the same plant, the game is less likely to give you more of that plant. So really good example here with these walnuts. Now that we have these 3 walnuts, the game is pretty unlikely to give us more. It did just give us a 4th walnut. That's just how things go sometimes. I will take this free mower kill, it's good to have. But walnuts are generally not going to be super useful for us because unless you're stalling zombies for the mower, they're not doing damage for you. So we like to keep walnuts and things like potato mines as well on the belt, and so that we can demanip them. Buckets are like the big limiting factor for any wave. If there's a bucket alive, you want to either be shooting it a lot or cherry bombing it. In this case, I decided not to cherry bomb because we got a mower kill, and I thought that was okay. Save the cherry bomb for a more important wave. But you never ever want to have 2 or more cherry bombs on the belt at the same time if you can help it. You also don't want to keep a lot of plants on the belt, period, because that will slow down the rate of more plants coming onto the belt. So you want to try to place them when you can. The indicator says this might be wave 9. If that's the case, you can look at the bottom and sort of see if the zombie head is right next to the flag. It's a good indicator that it might be wave 9. Sometimes the indicator will lie to you, though. It's not actually 100% consistent, so you kind of just have to know what wave you're on, in addition to all of that. I'll take the bucket head cleanup. Works. Yeah, using chompers is nice on sort of single buckets if you can select them out. But chompers are the rarest spawn in this level, so you're not very likely to see them in general. Also, after you set up a mower, a good thing to do oftentimes is to put down a mine. But yeah, you can see that we're keeping these walnuts and these potato mines on the belt here to try to demanipulate them. And that's kind of it. You want to use cherry bombs when you see bucket heads. You want to put down firepower when you see it. Sometimes use a strategic potato mine or walnut, but try not to use them too frequently because then you'll not be manipping them anymore. And that's more or less it. Here I decided to cherry bomb this part because this bucket head was being hidden by other zombies. And we're going to do the same thing here as well. You want to try to focus those cherry bombs on those buckets that have zombies already in front of them so that you can get the most efficient damage possible. Here we just have nothing more to really do for this wave, so we wait. 2 bucket heads, wowee. That's a cherry bomb if I've ever seen one. There was no way we were going to be able to get that roll when shooting. Gotta go, check out the recording later. Well, thank you for coming for the time that you could. Yes, the recording will be available later. Yeah, unfortunately here we did just have to wait for this bucket head to die. You can go ahead and place down some potato mines at the beginning of the final wave, especially if you have a cherry bomb or 2 in reserve. It's a nice thing to do to potentially get some extra damage. If you have 2 cherry bombs, though, you're going to be able to cover the whole field no matter what, and you don't have to worry about it. But if you only have 1, it's a good thing to do. So those mines were helpful for us there. All right, and that is day. That is the day individual world, which are categories, by the way. Doing a single world is a category. All right, here I'm going to take the top seed select that we have on our thing here, but you can use either the walnut or the pea shooter as your bonus plant here, quote unquote. Not part of the essential kit. And fool around with it. Play both strategies. I think they're both pretty valid here. The reason that you would take walnut is to stall the zombie before a mower. But welcome to night. So a lot is going to go on here. I'm going to have to explain a lot of things. So be patient. But the first thing is that we do not get sun dropping from the sky anymore. That's actually a huge detriment to our sun economy. And it means that sunflower is going to get sun a lot slower than it would normally be able to. So we are very, very happy that the game gives us this plant called the puff shroom here, the most OP plant in the game. It costs 0 sun, has a very fast cooldown, and does the same damage as a pea shooter. The only problem with it is that it only shoots from 3 tiles back, so that's why we're doing this 7th column thing here. And I would recommend you place them in a very similar way to me. Another thing to note for early runners is that sometimes you will get a row with a grave in the column 7. And once again, you cannot place plants on graves. For those rows, you're going to have to kind of prioritize those different puffshroom spots. If you have one with just one grave in column 7, I often will place a puffshroom in column 8 and then place a supporting one in column 6 later when a zombie spawns. Are their graves positioned random or set in the same spots for level? Great question. Okay, so there's a bit of a complicated answer to that. The answer is that there will always be a set amount of graves for each column in every level. So in this level, there's always going to be 1 grave in column 7, going to be 1 grave in column 8, and 2 graves in column 9. But where they actually are, in terms of the rows, is going to change every time you boot up a new instance at this level. So that is your answer. Here, I would like to chomper this guy, and I would if it were a day stage, but it is not, so I decided not to. It looks like this middle is going to be cherry bombed because each of these graves is actually going to spawn a zombie in the final wave. So I'm going to go ahead and place a mine down here to try to catch somebody, and extra puffshrooms up here. Alright. And there's that cherry. And you like to use a chomper if you have enough sun to clean up the final guy. Pretty good 2-1. Another thing you'll notice in the bottom left corner of your screen, also you hold down spacebar to skip Crazy Dave's text as well. Sorry, I didn't mention that before. You'll notice in the bottom left corner we are starting to collect money, not sun, like actual real dollars. In night, the game starts letting you do that. And every single mower that you have left over from a level will give you $50 each, which matters a lot. We're going to have to buy several things over the course of this run. So keeping that money can be a really good thing, especially for early runners. I highly recommend that for if you're just starting out, to try to not use too many mowers, especially in the night levels, but night and beyond, because it'll always let you do that everywhere after night. In the day, the mowers don't give you money, so you can use as many mowers as you want without having to worry about that. Also, you'll see here in this level, first of all, this is our first 2 flag and night. They start us off pretty fast. And second of all, we've actually taken both sunshroom and sunflower, because that is more efficient sun production together than just one of them on their own. But you want to place down a sunshroom first. It's random rows, but set columns. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, in this level, we're always going to have 2 of them here, 1 here, and 1 here as well. Luckily, we actually got a really good grave pattern in this level. You don't normally get one this good. Oftentimes, you'll get 2 graves in the same row, and that can be annoying for a reason I'll describe a little bit later, but we got a good one here, so that's nice. Also, zombies can drop money themselves as well. Higher health zombies are more likely to drop money. So just be on the lookout for that. And be collecting the coins when they come up. You don't want to leave a coin on the screen, because we are actually going to use them. Yeah, also newspaper zombies showed up last level. I didn't really talk about them, because they're mostly pushovers. If you destroy their newspaper, they start to go fast. You can use that to get them to the mower faster if you want to do that, but once again, as a beginner, I don't recommend that. Especially because you're going to want enough money to try out all the money-related strategies later. Yeah, so don't worry about that too much at this juncture, but it's a thing you can do. Yeah, newspapers are normally pushovers, but this level is spawning a lot of them right now, so they're slightly tearing through our defenses. That's okay. Also, this is wave 9, so I'm going to go ahead and chomper that, because we now have a lot of sun econ from our double sun production here, which is nice. But yeah, place down sunshrooms until you get 50 leftover sun, and then start placing down sunflowers as well. But do keep placing both, because they're both still good. Alright, here I'm going to go ahead and use a cherry bomb in the big wave. thing to do. You also can start placing down repeaters as soon as you get the money for that. Try to place repeaters in rows with graves in them, because the graves are going to make it so that you're less able to plant better plants in those rows. Said earlier that choppers eat clickers on something in front of them. Do graves count? They do not. Graves are kind of invisible to plants, so no, they do not count. Fortunately, this zombie is eating through my base. There is no shame in placing a repeater a little bit farther back than it looks like is optimal. This is a perfectly okay thing to do if you've got a zombie walking through your base. Remember to be using chompers and cherry bombs throughout the level to try to speed things up, especially if you see a bucket head. Now, one thing that you will often see in generations of 2-2 is that you will see two graves next to each other in the same row. The reason that that can be a really big problem is because of bucket heads. If you have a bucket head in that row, then you're not going to be able to use a chomper on it for a really long time until it walks all the way forward. So, if you do see that, try to use your cherry bomb somewhat sparingly and save it for later in the level. And save it for when bucket heads do that. But also remember not to use your cherry bomb too late, i.e. waves 7, 8, and 9, because then you won't have it for the final wave. I know, a lot of things to keep track of. Yeah, 2-2 I think is when things start to advance a little bit more, in terms of all the things you kind of have to think about and do. Alright, we got unlucky and we have a cone head here. It's a little bit too far forward for my cherry bomb to keep up with that I know I'm gonna do. So we're going to not worry about it yet. Unfortunately here, this looks like a 2 chomper solution. Or it looks like a chomper and a repeater solution, actually. Unlucky. A lot of spread out zombie spawns there. Was not helpful. I know that this zombie is not going to die very quickly because there's a newspaper in front of it, so that was the solution there. And there we go. Tough final wave. The final wave can be really hard to deal with because you kind of have to look at everything right away and make a bunch of snap decisions, but that's okay. All right. 2-3 is going to be our first prediction level. This is a very, very important concept. So, as kind of similar to 1-8 and 1-6 earlier, the game is going to spawn a new zombie type on wave 6 in this level, and it is going to be the screen door zombie. The screen door zombie actually has the same amount of health as buckets, so it's really, really powerful. But you can deal damage to it without dealing with that sort of like high health screen door shield by using a fume shroom. But fume shroom costs 75 sun and isn't all that useful for the rest of the level after you place it down to deal with that first screen door. So we actually don't want to use it. Our preferred way to deal with a screen door is to do so with a mine. So here, I am actually going to let a zombie go to the mower to try to potentially get a mower prediction because I want to show off how you might do that. I went ahead and got the 50% rule by shooting that guy enough, and then we can let him go to the mower. This is wave 4 because it's the first wave that could spawn a cone head or 2 normal zombies. It spawned a cone head. And then we go ahead and try to put down a potato mine where we think the screen door might spawn. Either at the beginning of wave 5 or during wave 4. So that it has enough time to catch up. Use that spawn manipulation I was talking about earlier to determine that. How that works is very nice prediction get. Beautiful. We're not going to get a mower kill, unfortunately, but that was a really good prediction. There we go. Yeah, use that spawn manip I was talking about before, where you kind of look at where the zombies spawn and you know that the zombies are less likely to spawn in rows that they've just spawned to try to predict that. You can also really count the waves easy after that wave 6 force spawn. I know this is wave 8 because there's only been 2 waves since then. And that means I know I don't have to chopper this or anything. I'm gonna chopper this guy though, because he is alone. No ammo in that row. And remember, the middle row is one of the best rows to have no ammo in, because you know your cherry bomb's gonna be covering it. No matter what. And then you kind of just have to wait and see where the zombies spawn in the final wave sometimes to decide where your cherry bomb's going to go. There. That was a really nice final wave. Good 2-3. Wow. That might be a gold. Yes. Beautiful. Wait. Thank you, Crazy Dave. So Crazy Dave, actually, we just held down space to sort of skip the dialogue, but he did something really big for us. And that was that he gave us our 7th seed slot. You actually have enough money. You actually have to have enough money to get a 7th seed slot, but you almost always do unless you use a bunch of mowers in the levels before 2-4. But yeah, you go ahead and get your seed slot. While teaching us about the run. Nice. Thank you. That was a really good 2-3. Getting that prediction and then a really solid, clean final wave. I would say the wave 8 was the only slow thing about that one, really. Here we just got unlucky with the first zombie didn't spawn where we had a puff shroom. No problem. Let's just place one tile back. Fast guy, though. I'm a little scared of this guy. A little bit fearful, so I'm actually gonna try helping defend there. Yeah, I think that zombie would have eaten through. Dang. But yeah, we have our 7th seed slot now, so we use that to bring kind of everything we need in this level, including double sun econ. This is our second example of that, and it's going to be our last example. This is the last level in which we take both sunshroom and sunflower, but same as 2-2, you place down sunshrooms first, and then sunflowers once you have enough sun. Yep, kind of the same deal at the beginning here. If you have rows that have, or if you have graves in your column 7, you try to make sure you have puff shrooms kind of in front of them, and then place one back to reinforce. If you have rows that only have an opening column 7, like the middle row, prioritize those for sure in your first 3 puff shrooms that you put down. So here I knew I should have placed a puff shroom in that middle row, because then otherwise you're gonna have to wait for the zombie to walk to where it can be shot on wave on the 5th row, or the 5th column, which is really slow. You don't want to do that. Here I am dealing with this kind of bad grave row, so I'm gonna go ahead and place down a fume to support. Fumes you want in columns 4 through 6, because they do only shoot from 5 tiles back, so you have to make sure that they shoot pretty quickly. Is the plant that eats graves useful to the night levels? Yes, we will be bringing Grave Buster from here on out in night levels. I will talk about how to use it a little bit more going forward. There, I did decide to chomper on a wave 8 because I thought the previous waves were going slow enough that I had enough sun econ built up that I could afford to do that, which I think was true. But yes, Grave Busters are very, very useful for multiple reasons. The first being that they clear out graves, which is great because you have more spots to place, and that means you get fewer zombies in the final wave. Really, really good. The second reason that Grave Busters are good, though, the second covert reason, is that every single Grave Buster, once it's done eating, will give you money. They will all give you money. Oh, nice Chomper wake up! Chompers wake up 42 seconds after they first eat, so it's very rare to see a full-blown Chomper wake up. So, very fun when it does happen. Oh, nice! Another one! Just when we needed it. But yeah, every single Grave Buster will always give a coin of some kind after it eats. That can either be a silver coin, as you can see they're only worth 10, not that much, but adds up, or a gold coin, which is worth 50, or, now that we've bought the 7th seed slot from Crazy Dave, the game can now spawn the most important variant of money, which are the diamonds. We really want to see at least 1 diamond per run, and this is going to determine a lot of what you're going to be able to do in terms of the things you can buy. How many diamonds you get. Diamonds are worth 1,000 money, and they're a 1 in 1,000 drop chance. Luckily, you have a lot of zombies to potentially get that drop chance, but yeah, it's a little bit harsh. That's probably the harshest part of this run, is having this sort of money RNG, because it does dictate a little bit of what you're able to do late in the game. Also, you can see here, I'm focusing a lot of my instant plants on these screen door zombies, because once again, fumes are fairly inefficient. It's usually more efficient to deal with zombies by just choppering them. and cherry bombing them and such. Here we did get to clear out every Gravebuster before the final wave, which is the ideal, so I'm glad we did. Let's see how this final wave goes. Also, you can make Vaulters jump with Gravebusters, one of my favorite things to do. We didn't get to see it this time, but it's super fun and funny when it does happen. Also, fume shrooms do pierce through multiple zombies at once. So if you get a cluster of normal-ish zombies there, like I did, good to place a bunch of fume shrooms if you can. All right, welcome to 2.5. This is the only true autoscroller in the game besides the exiting the Almanac to get into it and the final wave. However, you do have to still bop all the zombies as they come up, so it's no bathroom break, unfortunately. Rip. If only there was something better we could do. But the zombies will walk into your base if you just leave them alone. You also want to be using Gravebusters throughout the entire level, so it is also still an active level, even though the pace of zombies spawning is not something you can affect. This is the only level in the entire game like that. But yeah, you want to be digging up graves as much as possible, both to reduce the amount of zombies in the final wave and to increase the amount of money that you get. I'm really hoping we see at least one diamond in this run, because it would be funny for me to hype that up, and then y'all never get to see what it even looks like. It makes a big sound. It's fun. Very important. But yeah, you're pretty, 2.5 is the level we call the money check, because you're likely to get quite a bit of money in this level, and it sort of tells you what kind of money pace you're on. Right now we're on a pretty poor money pace, unfortunately. We did use one mower, but I think also that's just coin luck. Hopefully that will turn around. Also, you dig a lot in this level, so you're more likely in this level to get diamonds than most other ones. Although conveyor belt levels spawn lots and lots of zombies, so you get even more drop chances in conveyor belt levels. So oftentimes conveyor belt levels will also be the ones you'll get diamonds in. But you can get diamonds from any given zombie. It's always possible, so you know, you just have to wait and see. Yeah, higher health zombies are more likely to drop both money and sun in this level. Alright, here I know I'm gonna have enough for one more cherry bomb. Yeah, so there you can see I actually purposely dug up the graves in such a way where I had that little pocket there that I could just put a cherry bomb in at the end. And you can save a little bit of time at the end of the level from doing something like that. All right, welcome to 2-6. This is going to be another prediction stage. And the zombie that we're going to be focusing on this time is the football zombie. The American football zombie, not the everywhere else in the world football zombie. More health than even a bucket head, this football zombie, so very, very spooky. Another zombie we would really prefer to kill with a potato mine or a mower, although I'm going to stop letting zombies go to the mower because I want to have enough money to live. To do our things later. There I broke my little puff shroom rule. I should have actually put a puff shroom bottom before anywhere else because is flanked by both sides, or by graves on both sides. And you can see here I'm not placing a puff shroom in row 4 specifically because even if a zombie spawned there, we'd already have to wait for it to walk a little bit forwards to be in the puff shroom range. So no reason to place a puff shroom there until a zombie spawns. Here's wave 4 already. I'm gonna go ahead and place a mine top because it looks like we're getting normal zombie spawns in this level, so looks like we need a little bit of time before that mine comes up. Also, a zombie just spawned top, so it's a decent bet. Now, if we don't get our prediction, which it looks like we did not, unfortunately, rip, all we have to do is save up for this hypno shroom here. And then, the zombie works for us. Wow! let's hope somebody else spawns. Nice! Great conehead spawn there. That lets us clean that conehead up easy. Of course, if you get a higher health zombie Hypnode, then that zombie is going to be able to destroy higher health zombies for you easier. Hypno is one of the fastest instas in the game, actually, because certain other instants, like the cherry bomb, will leave a little ashy pattern after the zombies are dead, and that actually counts for the 50% roll. That, and also if a zombie dies and has their corpse fall down, that animation counts for the 50% roll, so that's something to keep in mind. Here I'm gonna go ahead and clear out this grave and place a mine preemptively to kill whatever zombie comes out of here. You don't get a lot of sun in your final wave here, so you have to be really careful on how you use it. I know I'm gonna... Oh no, that's a bad miss. Okay, not what we wanted to see. That was very unlucky. Okay, we know we can go ahead and send this to the mower. That's gonna be the way we were going to deal with that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and try to stall these zombies so that they can all get into the same place. And then we're gonna cherry bomb that. So as you can see here, one flag night stages can be really, really tricky final waves, especially if you have a very fast progression up till then, which we did, and that's the reason we still save time over my terrible 2-6 in PB. But yeah, you have to be really, really careful about your final waves, plan for them adequately, and then make sure you have backup plans for if things don't work. That was an unfortunate hypno miss. Just happens sometimes. Would hypnotizing a zombie right next to the lawnmower be good? Because they could help for longer. Maybe. I wouldn't recommend it in most cases, because a lot of the time, if you're using a hypnotized zombie to actually help other zombies, kill other zombies, it's going to be a high health zombie. And that means that it's already contributing a lot towards the wave that it spawned in, so you probably want to deal with it as fast as possible. So in general, I would say no. You generally want to hypno zombies as fast as you can. It was just lucky there that we happened to get a nice conehead spawn to go along with that football. That's my opinion. Alright, 2-7 is another 2-flag level, but our build's starting to look a little bit more night-y. We have the Scaredy Shroom now, and the Scaredy Shroom is a super good plant. I'm actually going to plant one right here because this grave row is no good. It does the same damage as a pea shooter and is long range, so we can go ahead and place it back here. Its only problem is that it is a little bit socially anxious. It doesn't like to interact with zombies very much, so if zombies come near it, it will shrink into the ground and not be able to shoot anymore. That's why I'm keeping my column 1 open, so that I can have a nice little army of Scaredy Shrooms. I definitely recommend that placement, especially if you're just starting out, but more top runners are starting to adopt further back shooting plants these days, because another top runner named Bulbasaur calculated just how much time save it would be throughout the entire run if you placed everything in the absolute most optimal spot, and it was about 2 seconds. At most. So that means that that matters extremely little. Instas are really going to be the way that you're going to save time. Good insta usage and just being able to get a lot of firepower down on the screen are once again going to be your limiting factors, not where the shooting plants are in relation to zombies most of the time. There, I could have hypnoed that zombie, but I decided not to because he had a lot of firepower on him, and I wanted to save my son for future waves. But you can make a different choice there. There are a lot of different choices you can make during this game, and that's one thing that's really interesting about it, is it's really quite a dealer's choice sort of situation. Whatever style that you want to go with, there's probably benefits to that. That's a good hypno because there was a zombie in front of that conehead zombie, so it was going to take a while to get damage on that one. And that's no good. We don't like taking a lot of time to get damage. Grave busting in column 9 and 7 is usually the best thing to do here, because those will give you instant spots and pushroom spots, respectively. But other columns are good too. Sometimes if you see a screen door and you've got an instant, use an instant. Because once again, those fumes are slow. Also, yep, dig as much as possible. We do not yet have our basically screen clear explosion plant yet. And we're unfortunately not even going to get it next level. So making sure that you have the best possible final wave for your cherry bomb is always a good idea. Also, in this level, there's something special in particular that can happen, which is called the bonus wave 19 football. If the game decides, it can spawn a wave 19 that is just one football zombie. I didn't actually do it properly here, oops, but what you're supposed to do because of that is you're supposed to set up one hypno for your final, for your 9th wave to be able to catch that, that football zombie. It would have also been helpful for this cone zombie, so don't do what I say, don't do what I do. Save a hypno. Alright. There's always going to be one football in the final wave here, so you kind of want to look at where it is. Luckily, it's in the middle row for us, which means that there's no risk of not catching it in the cherry bomb, and that was a really nice final wave. Very good. Alright, moving on to 2-8. Who is that in our preview? Who is that? Do y'all recognize him? It's Michael Jackson. So, I actually am using the non-Game of the Year edition version of the speed, of this game right now for this speedrun. If you have purchased the Game of the Year edition, you can talk to the mods in the Plants vs. Zombies Discord, and then they will be able to direct you to how to get this version of the game. There is exactly one major time save in it, or not major, but exactly one sometimes time save in it, and that does come from the Michael Jackson zombie. The Michael Jackson zombie was changed to the disco zombie for all subsequent releases of the game, because Michael Jackson unfortunately passed away very shortly after this game was released. So that means that we're actually going to get to use him here, and the reason that he's special is that he walks to column 8 before he starts summoning his zombies, which is useful for this prediction stage because it allows us to place a potato mine in column 8 to potentially catch a Michael Jackson. Also, Michael Jackson, or the Disco Zombie, regardless of what version of the game you're playing on. You can totally speedrun this on Game of the Year edition, by the way. No need to go out of your way to get non-Game of the Year edition if you don't want to. It is a very minimal time save. Yeah, the reason I'm placing the potato mine in the middle instead of like the bottom is because Michael can only spawn in the middle 3 rows. That's just a rule. Oh, unlucky Michael. But luckily we have a nice Hypno Shroom. Go ahead and grab him. A lot of the time Michael is really annoying to deal with if you don't Hypno or mine him, so I highly recommend doing at least one of those. Well, one of those. And Michael can also spawn more backup zombies, and that's usually a net benefit for you, so recommend. You can also use Scaredy Shroom to sort of do a little bit more extra damage, which can be helpful as well. Nice gold coin drop. Lot of normals in this level. Very good for me. But it also means that the final wave is coming up fast. Alright, hopefully that mine gets to come up. You can't plant on graves, so true. Alright, I'm gonna have to focus on this final wave. This is a tricky one. Alright, here I'm actually going to go ahead and use a Hypno on this zombie already. The reason I did that so early is because there was a Conehead zombie in front. So it made sense to try to use that Conehead zombie to do damage to other zombies using the Hypno. Here, unfortunately, we're not going to get either the Hypno back in time or do damage to these zombies fast enough. Well, no, we'll get the Hypno. That's good. Because we don't want to use mowers if we can. It saves money. Do you remember which zombies appear on which level by heart? Yes. You eventually do get used to that. Sometimes I don't remember the seed select by heart, and that's why I have my little PowerPoint. Helpful to use. But zombies on which level? Yes, you kind of get used to that over time and remember it later. Oh, I did the wrong seed select. I'm actually going to do this very specifically here. Normally you would not restart in that scenario because I didn't do a wrong enough seed select that I would do that, but I actually am going to use a different seed select than the one down here. Use a different, you don't have to use a different one, but it's a better idea. The reason for that is now we have 3 instant plants, including the Hypno Shroom, Doom Shroom, and Cherry Bomb all together. That means that we have enough instant plants to deal with screen doors without having to bring Fume, which is good, because once again, Fume is slow. So much to remember. It kind of comes naturally after a while. The first couple runs are really just learning. You just get in there, you kind of, you know, you see what you see, you do what you do. You try to remember as much as you can from the notes, you use the seed selects, and then eventually you'll start kind of remembering things, building up habits, etc, etc. But yeah, I'm going to show how you do 3 instants to 9. You can decide not to bring Cherry Bomb and bring Fume instead. I do recommend that for beginners to at least do that once or twice. But I'm going to show all instants because I think it's the harder strategy. So, you know, actually showing how it works is probably a good idea. Instead of just saying, this is a thing you can do. It's also generally faster. That's why most top runners, and most runners in general, use this seed select these days. The PowerPoint is not updated, unfortunately, and it is not a PowerPoint I made, so I cannot update it. I'll probably talk to Scion about it at some point. Ask him to update this particular level, because it trips me up all the time. But yeah, I'm kind of glad we messed up, because it's an important thing to note. Yeah, here Scarities are just such a godsend. There's so many graves everywhere. You just don't want to deal with that. It's good to have Scarities to buff up your damage. As soon as you get enough money, you can kind of start grave busting, though. And once again, I recommend columns 7 and 9 first for your grave busting. Your money's okay, but I would definitely like more. A diamond drop is really what we're looking for. They're all blue and it goes swing. Yeah, especially for the second half of the level, grave busting in column 9 is really good because you're going to want to be using Hypnos and Cherry Bombs to collect screen doors. I would recommend, if you can, not using an insta at all on waves that don't have screen doors with this particular seed select, if you can. Although I'm going to just use a Doom now, because it looks like we might just not be getting very many screen doors in general. So a Doom is our new insta, and what it allows us to do is to do a 5x5 explosion radius. So if you've only got zombies in the front of your screen, that's basically a screen wave. But it does leave a crater where you put it, which means that you can't plant anything else there. So I actually pretty consciously planted that in column 8, so that I wouldn't have to worry about placing a Hypno Shroom in column 9. Unfortunately here, you have to wait to clean up this screen door. That's okay. Here's just a good wave to put down some ammunition to destroy these cone heads. And it's always good to grave bust when you have time. Oh, Michael Jackson. Hello. MJ moment. There we go. Yeah, I think Michael Jacksons are often worth using cherries on, because they're just so annoying. Although, unfortunately, this is wave 9 here. I kind of thought the previous one was wave 9. And we do have to deal with that. So we can manually shoot this cone head, and then we'll have to wait for the hypno shroom on the screen door. There is an auto-scroll rule, so you would have seen it in previous levels where we let a zombie go to the mower. That's about 30 seconds. Where if you don't get the 50% rule, the game will just say, okay, we'll spawn the wave for you. But on wave 9s, that auto-scroll rule is actually closer to 50 seconds, so it's even worse. You really don't want to let those wave 9s go. That's not a good example of that for me, unfortunately. Luckily, final wave can just be cleaned up with a Doom. As long as you have a Doom ready in time, you can always do that. Highly recommend. That was very slow because we restarted the level, and also because the level wasn't optimal, but the restart was, of course, the major time loss there. Alright, 210. This is a lot like 110, in which the game is going to spawn all of the zombies it's going to spawn, and all the plants it's going to spawn. If you were running day through night, the category day through night, this would be the final level in the game. Because of that, you're not really going to need to save very much money in day through night. The only thing that you need money for is that seed slot in 2-4, and you usually will get that unless you use a ton of mowers. So if you're playing day through night, you can feel much freer to use mowers and stuff like that. Here, Dooms are very similar to how cherry bombs were in 110. They're kind of your limiting factor for speed, so it's important to not manipulate them. Here, I just decided to wait for that mower to go. Yeah, if you can, especially early in the level, use Doom Shrooms in kind of weird, tucked away spots to try to get the zombies that you're looking to get. That can be really helpful. Unfortunately there I kind of, I made the wrong choice because that cone head was actually going to be more of the wave. Whoa, really early Michael Jackson zombie. Alright. Okay then. Usually Michaels don't show up quite this early. It's a bit of a rare spawn. You want to try to use fume shrooms to get through these dancer zombies and pierce to the Michael Jackson zombie. If you can. Got some really far back fumes here. It's kind of funny. Craters do go away after a while. You can see that this one is starting to heal itself, but it takes quite a while. It takes several minutes, so you want to try not to rely on that for your best Doom spots. Does the dancer zombie have more health than the zombies it spawns? Yes, it does. And also, actually, an important note. For those backup dancers that it spawns, those backup dancers actually have no, they are not important for the rule. They actually do nothing for the rule at all. So you can just leave them on screen, and you don't have to worry about it. Also, we're manipulating ice shrooms in this level, as you might have been able to tell. That's our big manipulation. Fortunately here, we're kind of getting wrecked. We're not getting hypno shrooms. Or we're not getting doom shrooms to be able to solve this problem. I don't know why. It's very unusual. Yeah, you go to the mower, because I want this Michael dead. I don't know why it's doing this. Very unusual. Yeah, this is really weird. You almost never see anything like this. Oh, well, a diamond for my troubles, at least. But wow, that was really odd. So, I guess the preview had a lot of Michael Jackson zombies in it. Good to know! At least we got a diamond. That's really good. I'm glad we have at least one diamond. You almost always want at least one diamond per run to get all the things you need to get. Here I'm being sparing with my dooms because I've seen what has just happened. That was very unusual. Very wacky. Wow, even more Michaels. But yeah, if you're able to snipe that Michael Jackson zombie, that's going to be the only thing that counts for the rule out of him and his fellow dancers, so that's important. Also, hypnid zombies can eat through screen doors. So that's something to note as well. I would normally hypno this, football zombie, but it would have to wait way too long. Here, I will use it, though. Zombies that do more damage to your plants. I don't believe so. At least if I'm understanding what you're asking correctly. Wow. What a strange 210. That was a weird one. Not getting a Doom for a really long time there was pretty brutal. Ice shrooms, by the way, are generally not very useful. The only thing they can do for us is that they can slow down, they can freeze or slow down zombies, depending on the zombie. And they will, deal 1 piece shot of damage to every zombie on screen. So you can end the final wave in 210 with ice shrooms, if you really need to. Alright, welcome to pool. Do my little seed select. Just wondering if a zombie can eat plant quicker than others. I feel like faster zombies, like the football zombie, might have a faster eating speed, but I wouldn't count on that. I would not count on that. Alright, welcome to 3-1. So 3-1 is going to be the only 1 flag pool level in the entire run. So it's the only level that has, in the pool stages, that has 10 waves instead of 20 or 30. So that means we're going to play it pretty similarly to 1-8, where we're going to try to conserve our sun and try to use instant plants and stuff. Newspaper zombies? I think that's the only one? You think? I think footballs might too, if that's true. But maybe not. I don't know. We're going to always, in pool, now be letting a zombie go to the mower. That is going to be kind of our major thing. Because it will always let us get sun up. Using mines is still very important to get those cheap kills. And this is going to also be the only pool level in which we bring pea shooter, because we don't have a whole lot of time to get econ for the repeater. Here, even though there is a sunflower in the bottom row, I'm still going to let a zombie go, because it's a really convenient way to do that in. I will take the free conehead kill, and then remember to use the mine to take advantage of that mower manipulation. Yeah, using choppers kind of everywhere is really good in this short of a level. I do like to use collimate choppers in this level, though, for the chance that they might come back. It can be important. Alright, you can get pool zombies as early as wave 6, but they usually start on wave 7. Here they've started on wave 8. And you want to make sure to have either instants or pea shooters ready. Here I decided on pea shooters because there were no high health zombies. Got a nice bonus kill there, and this is wave 9, so I'm going to go ahead and use a chopper to clean it up. I also know that the bottom wave row is going to spawn nothing in this final wave because the mower manipulation is going to extend to this wave. So I can use that. Alright, here, this looks like the obvious cherry bomb. Because this zombie will get cleaned up by this pea shooter at the same rate as that zombie will, pretty much. And then we can use a chopper. Not a bad 3-1! Actually, like a really good 3-1. Yeah! Gold. Nice. Alright. Let's rock. So 3-1 once again looks pretty different from other pool levels. We're going to start to see more standard stuff now. We are using repeater as our big thing of choice. And we have now gotten squash, which is another one of the best plants in the game. The squash is another cheap insta. It's only 50 sun. And it will also do a 1-tile range of damage, but it's going to see a zombie and try to jump on it. You'll see once we place it down how it sort of works. It can see a zombie in front of it, or it could see a zombie in back of it, but it's got more range to see a zombie in front of it. And so that's how we're mostly going to be using it. Zombies in back of it can kind of get away, so you kind of want to be careful of that. But yeah, letting a zombie go. And then because we're using repeaters, we kind of want to deal with the second zombie with a mine or a squash, usually. If we're dealing it with a squash, I often like to place it 3 tiles back to give us a little bit of extra time to gain econ. But yep, you can see here, zombie sees it, jumps on it. If there were multiple zombies really close to each other with that squash, then the squash would have gotten multiple of them. Since we don't have a walnut anymore, we were just hoping for a mower kill there. Didn't get it. That's okay. Now we've had enough time to build up enough sun to get our first repeater down, which is going to be my plant of choice here instead of waiting for an instant. Because now we have 2 flags in this level. It means we have 20 whole waves. It's good to have shooting plants sometimes. Down. But sometimes you want to squash. It's kind of about that rhythm, right? It's about the balance of instas versus shooting plants. Finding that right rhythm for you is going to be one of the most important and best things you can do for yourself as a runner of this game. Also, yeah, the game just gave us mini games. It doesn't really matter for anything. This is wave 7, so I don't feel like using an insta on it because we already have some good damage. May as well just improve that damage. Already have a mine here on this wave 8, so that's nice. And then let's focus on this wave 9. We can both save the mine there and kill the wave 9 instantly with a cherry bomb. Really nice usage of a cherry bomb there. Highly recommend those sort of creative cherry bomb uses and saving it for wave 9 in these levels. It can be really helpful. If you see multiple zombies in one tile, and especially if one of them's a conehead, really good opportunity for a squash. Squashes are your new best friend. Pay attention to them. They're awesome. And I'm going to save this mine with a chopper and have an excuse to use a chopper, even though it was on a normal and you normally want to focus instance on high health zombies. Sometimes there will be special exceptions like that one. Oftentimes, if you know you can clean something up later, you want to use the instant first. So, like that one, where I used the chopper before I placed down the repeater to clean up that guy, because it advances to the next wave quicker. Here I was hoping for exactly this, being able to use a squash here and then place down the mine. The reason that that's good is because there's a chopper defending it, and because if a higher health zombie spawns in a row, it's less likely to spawn more guys there later. Unfortunately, it did spawn a guy there afterwards, but the chopper was able to defend it. Just sort of explaining little things that you might see on screen here. This level can spawn buckets. It's just been very allergic to that. Which is unfortunate, because once you have chopper, you really want the game to spawn buckets. Wave 19, bonus football! Let's go! This is the other level where that can happen. Well, one of another level so that can happen. Awesome. You want to make sure you have a chopper or even a squash for that. Luckily, you almost always have enough money for chopper. Alright. Good final wave. Good 3-2. Another gold. Wow. Okay. Early pool is going really, really well. That's pretty cool. I'm glad to show some good examples of pool levels, though, because pool is probably the most skill-based part of this run. It's the least dependent on RNG for the most part. Night and fog are really dependent on RNG because the amount of normal zombies versus high health zombies that you get on those levels will determine a lot of your pace. Day has a lot of wacky things that can happen, especially in the really early levels. And roof, we'll get to roof. Roof is a lot. It's great, but it's a lot. But pool, there's not a ton of variation of zombies that can spawn. And most of the time save is going to be in your hands. The way you decide to use instance, how you deal with the early game, stuff like that is kind of going to determine your pace the most. So seeing good examples of that, I think, is nice to be able to sort of, you know, get that feel for it. All right, 3-3 starts very similarly to 3-2. As a note, you can potentially have an 8th seed slot by this point. If you get enough money, especially, you can have that happen. Sometimes if you get 1 diamond, it'll happen. If you get enough other money drops. And Dave will just sell you the seed slot also. If you have enough money. If you get 2 or more diamonds, you almost will always get that seed slot before 3-4. Or 3-3. Here, I don't know. Here it looks like we're going to get it before 3-4, so that's going to be a nice example of how that looks. Here, I'm going to chill out on this wave a little bit and take a repeater once it gets closer. Because once again, we're kind of trying to build some econ and power for later. We don't have to instant every single wave. Especially if we don't have a cheap instant like Squash waiting for us. Oh wow. Funny triple normal. Go for a cherry bomb here, even though I know it's not wave 9. Because we have so many instas that I'm thinking wave 9 is going to be okay. If you're using a chomper and a squash on the same wave, usually use the squash first, because the squash has a longer cooldown, so it's good to try to run that cooldown faster. Chomper also is a quicker insta than a squash, so that's the other reason that you would do it. It's quicker to kill. Unlucky mine. Alright, we start seeing a zombie here called the Snorkel Zombie. So the Snorkel Zombie is important because it actually cannot be damaged unless it's eating something. Or unless you insta it. So they're really annoying. They're kind of a nuisance, unfortunately. You just try to deal with them as best you can. A lot of the way of doing that will be instaing. Or by making them come up and just kind of doing damage to them. Here, I am going to... place a cherry bomb. Because dealing with those 2 zombies in any other way would have been much, much more inconvenient. Yeah, it's a bit of a rougher start to this 3-3, unfortunately. But that's okay, we'll deal. Jump. Yeah, a nice steady flow of chompers is really the way to go fast in a lot of pool levels and situations. This level very much included. All 2 flag levels, you probably want to focus more on insting than getting up a lot of ammo. You want to focus on getting up some ammo, but more insting is usually the way to go. You can use a squash to get those 2 zombies at the same time if you have it target a snorkel, which is pretty fun. Here, I'm going to go ahead and target this snorkel that's behind these 2 other zombies. Although it looks like it was wave 9. Yep. So there was nothing we could do but wait for 2 choppers anyway. Alright, let's see how this final wave treats us. Yeah, these ambush zombies, by the way, there's going to be 2 to 3 of them per level. And yeah, they can spawn as far forward. Nice, another diamond. Very helpful. As that 6th tile there. Yeah, bit of a rough final wave there, but we did get a diamond, so that's really nice. Alright, extra seed slot 3-4, here we come. Thank you, Dave. Normally in 3-4, we have to choose between taking the Kangle Kelp and the Potato Mine, but we don't have to anymore. Which is extra good. So I get to show off how to use both. Alright, so, new plant, Tangle Kelp. Tangle Kelp is one of the best plants in Pool because it is a directly plantable plant in the water, unlike everything else that must be planted on a lily pad. And it is another cheap insta. Unfortunately, it can only get 1 zombie at a time, unlike the mine or squash. But it's still really, really nice to have that sort of 25 sun zombie gone. Unfortunately, it does take a really long time to come back. So we like to plant Tangle Kelps just about as soon as we're able to. Especially if you have mine or squash to help support. Normally in this level, you would take kelp and squash, and then everything else the same. Some players may take mine and kelp, or mine and squash, but it's usually going to be kelp and squash. Kelp is just so good, especially for those snorkel zombies, because they are coming back. And once again, snorkels are really annoying, because you can only damage them if you get them to bite something, which, no fun. Yeah, building up a bunch of Tangle Kelps in the water is going to make those first couple of water waves go much faster than they would have otherwise. Which is good to do. Yeah, you also want to be wave counting as much as you can. I'm pretty sure this is wave 6, because there's only one cone head in it. If I'm right, this will have 3 normals in it? Nope, this is wave 6. Once again, keeping those spawn points in mind, really useful. Wave 7 is the first wave where you can get a normal and a cone head. Or 3 normals. Like we just got. Even though that normal is body block, that's just the better thing to do there. To get the higher health zombie gun. Alright, here I'm going to do a speeds of strategy called Tangle Kelp Tech. Or Kelp Tech. There, you can see that I dug up that Tangle Kelp as soon as it grabbed that conehead zombie. That actually saves time, because the Tangle Kelp sort of like dragging down animation takes time for that 50% roll. So that is something that you can do to avoid that time loss. Then using the cherry bomb in the big wave is a good thing to do. Help catch yourself back up. Here I don't have a ton of repeaters for this section of the level, so I'm going to be kind of focusing on that. Although unfortunately this snorkel's not going to help me with that endeavor. Alright, sure. Yeah, Kelp Tech is something you should do whenever you can, but isn't a huge time save. It's just a little time save here and there. But especially on wave 9, if it's the last zombie, just like it was there, then it's an especially good thing to prioritize. Newspaper is technically the highest health zombie in that wave, so I decided to use an insta on it. They don't all have to be cones or buckets. Yeah, buckethead spawns are really good because they just get so much health of the wave done immediately. Alright, this is the wave 9. I think I made the right choice on using the cherry on wave 8 because the wave 9 was so spread out. Oh, this was wave 9. Good to know. No worries. Please ask any questions that you have. All are good. If a zombie is currently eating a lily pad and you put a plant on top, is it eating the plant or still eating the lily pad? Great question. Any question like that, perfectly good. Good. Please ask all of your questions. It is eating the plant on top, and that is very important. Yes. It's always plant on top and then lily pad. There, I decided to do some Kelp Tech because that buckethead's gonna be a limiting factor there. Yeah, Tangle Kelps are really nice just to go ahead and drag down those snorkel zombies real quick. Yeah, if you have waves kind of like this where it's not super advantageous to do any kind of instaing right away, definitely recommend just putting down more repeaters. It'll help you go faster in the future. In this third flag, especially when you have just more time to do things like that. Yeah, Tangle Kelps can also see behind them, as you can see there. So that helps. Yeah, typically vaulters will die before they jump, if they, oh, unlucky. If they, have 2 repeaters shooting at them. Oh, that was a very late cherry bomb, so we'll probably have to wait for it to come back in the final wave. That's alright. Unfortunately here, very little we can do about this. Yeah. This is a rough final wave, so it's actually not terrible to be here because we have to wait for the cherry bomb to come back in final wave anyway. That was a rough wave 9. There was just too much going on. Go ahead and chomper that bucket here because it's going to be just kind of too far forward for us to do anything about it. And then tangle count the other one. Tried to sneak that in on the lily pad, but didn't quite get it. Alright, perfectly fine 3-4. Nothing too crazy. Too out of the ordinary, I mean. Welcome to Crazy Dave's shop! Alright, he forces you in here and asks you to buy items. What you will want to buy if you have enough money is the rake. If you have enough money, it can come in 2 forms. Either you have already gotten the 8th seed slot, then if you have enough money to buy the rake, just buy it. Or if you have enough money to buy both the 8th seed slot and the rake, buy the rake. If neither of those are true, do not buy the rake. The rake will actually force the first zombie that spawns in the level to spawn at the rake, and the rake will do an instant kill to the first zombie that steps on it. So it's a really good way to get a kill without spending any sun, and know exactly where the first zombie is going to be. We also really want to count waves in this level. This is the 4th wave. That's because this level 3-5 works a little bit differently from other levels. It's not going to have that same, what's it called? Automatic, like, rule advancement that other levels are going to have. It advances rules very fast automatically. So you kind of want to keep your cherry bombs for waves. You want to keep 2 cherry bombs for the 9th wave and just eliminate that. That's your highest priority. But you also don't want multiple cherry bombs on the belt all that often because then you're demanipping it, which is not good. This is wave 8. Great. So this next wave, or nope, this is wave 9. If you wait long enough, then you can tell no zombies are spawning. That's going to be wave 9. All right, we're going to actually count this next time here. This is the 10th wave, or I sometimes say 0. If you see a football, it's sometimes still worth it to cherry, though, because it will sometimes still get the rule. All right, 1. 2. Also, you're going to get more cherries, so using cherries early here is not a big deal. 3. And does help you go faster. Here's 4. I got a lot of cherries, actually. 5. I'll hold off on this one. A lot of snorkel zombies anyway. 6. 1 here. 7. 8. 9. Yeah, the tiny zombies, of course, take a lot less pea shots to kill. So you can kind of be riskier with placing pea shooters like I just was. And then as long as you have 2 cherry bombs for your final wave, you are good to go. That was a really nice 3-5, except for that wave 9. Sometimes you'll have to let zombies go to the mower in 3-5 if you don't get enough damage early, and that's just the way it is. Alright, this is going to be our first level where we are able to set up with the rake. And by 3-6, if you're on a run that doesn't have an absolutely abysmal money pace and no diamonds, you should usually have your 8th seed slot by now. So this is going to be the kind of standard seed selection for this level. This is the first time we're going to set up with the rake. and so it's going to look a little bit different. We know that the zombie is going to go here, and we know it's going to be a free kill. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to set up our sunflowers in a different row than the rake row. Because it's more likely that after the zombie will go in a different row, and you can protect it with the mine. There we go. And then you let your second zombie go all the way. And then you're all set up for repeaters. If you're really desperate for money, I don't know why you would buy the rake if you're really desperate for money, but if you're really desperate for money, you can save more by doing a squash here, but I don't recommend it. And yeah, once again, if you have any questions, please ask. This is the time where this is the time for that. This is the designated time for if you're confused, ask me. Of course, you can also always ask questions after the fact in the Game of the Month Learning channel. I didn't need to shoot that guy. I didn't see that the top guy was going to the mine, but that's okay. Good to repeaters. Anyway. I was hoping we would get lucky and get a mower kill, but no. That's okay. We'll wait for a nice repeater here. Tangled Kelp Army. Love it. Getting a kelp army up is really nice for later. Is the pepper good? Jalapeno? You generally will not take because Cherry Bomb is a better insta because it goes through multiple rows, and you just don't have a whole lot of space in your seed select besides that. But there are certain situations where you would take it on 3-8. That's the only level where you would voluntarily take it. And we're going to be forced to use it on 3-10. So you will see it there. It's not a bad insta in general. We just have better ones. Hi! Hello, Flower Andy. Welcome in. We are about halfway through the run right now. A little bit less, probably. Please ask any questions that you have throughout the course of the run. Also, take a look on my OBS layout down there, the 50% rule. That's going to be the most important thing governing how we're going to play this game. The faster we kill zombies, the faster that more zombies are going to spawn, essentially. Also, there's going to be a forced Zomboni spawn here. You can kill the Zomboni in multiple ways, including with every insta that we bring, including Chomper. You just have to put the Chomper far enough back that it'll see it. But the squash is another really great way to do that. The squash will never die if it's run over by the Zomboni, and neither will the cherry bomb, so those are good ways to kill the Zomboni with consistency. Cherry cleanup. It's always good to remember to use your cherry bomb early enough in the level, so that you don't have to run out of time. If we'll get multiple, nice. Kills with that mine. So yep, using instants on high health zombies are going to help with that 50% rule, because the higher the health, if you kill that zombie instantly, that's going to be faster. This is wave 8. Nope, wave 9. It's alright. Here I'm gonna pre-plant a chomper because I have a lot of sun. Try to get the ambush zombie in there. And then I'm gonna make sure we have a chomper for that. Nope. Yep, gone. Alright, unlucky on that cherry bomb. Just didn't plant it fast enough. That's okay, it shouldn't even be our limiting factor. That was the bottom zombies. Alright, not about 3-6. It was just literally my golden PB. Seed select. Not rake yet. If you buy a rake in the 3-5, it'll last for 3 whole levels, and then you can buy another one in 3-8. It's important to do so. My partner just passed a prelim exam, so that's really exciting for their PhD program. Hooray! Celebration time. Alright, 3-7 is going to be pretty similar to 3-6. We have the Zombonis again, which once again you want to kill with an insta. You really just do not want to shoot those guys. But they're going to be able to spawn more frequently now, so we have to be ready for them all the time. Also, this super dramatic death animation is actually the worst one you can possibly get. It takes even more time to get that 50% roll if you have that dancing animation. But it's pretty funny to watch. That is the thing with this game. It is just an absolute joy. Such a cute game. All sorts of charm. And lots of mechanics. I mean, I can talk non-stop, as you can clearly tell, about all of the mechanics that are in this game and how you can utilize them to go fast. Yeah, our nice little wall of cheap instas is going to help us make sure to kill zombies quickly. Gonna prioritize a repeater there, though. Another reason I'm prioritizing a repeater there is because this is a 3 flag level, which means that ammunition is going to be even more important than it normally is. Could have maybe stalled that zombie to potentially get a mower kill, but I don't think it was worth it. Oh, nice. Some of the P shots that were there from the previous zombie actually landed on that conehead that spawned after, so that was pretty cool. I'll try to also show Kelp Tech again, once or twice in this level. Here's an opportunity for me to show it, even though it won't save time. You remember you want to dig that plant up right after it has snared a zombie. And that'll reduce the amount of time it'll take to get to the 50% roll. Since I have barely any ammo up, I decided to save the cherry bomb for the big wave, so that it'll be easier to clean that big wave up. That was a very fast first flag, by the way. Let this guy eat through that lily pad because I really needed to get a repeater down top. Also, yeah, if your first speedrun does not look like this, if it looks, you know, if things are looking worse, if things are looking slower, do not worry about that. First of all, I'm not, like, the best runner myself. Second of all, you know, I have a lot of room to grow and improve, too. Second of all, this game is hard and very complicated and very technical. So there's a lot of just, like, random stuff that you can improve on all of the time in this game. And you're not it's not gonna look, you know, like this. It's not gonna look nearly as clean, and that's okay. You do not have to worry about that. There was a really nice centered cherry bomb there. Everything was just in that spot, so nice to just get rid of it. Ooh, a lot of normal waves. Okay, so actually a fun fact here that is somewhat relevant to how you'll deal with this level is that for every level that spawns zombonis, the game's actually going to think that you're supposed to have more normal zombies than you do. The reason for that is because you're not going to be getting something called bobsled teams, which you would be getting if you let the Zomboni go for a long time and thus had an ice trail that the bobsled team could go on. And the bobsled team has 4 normals. So the game thinks that it's supposed to be spawning a bunch of normal zombies, but it's not. And so it just spawns a bunch of other normal zombies instead. That's true for levels 3-6, level 3-7, and 3-9, which have Zombonis. So if you see a lot of normals, that's why. Here's an example of a chomper eat on that Zomboni. Awesome. I love that the chomper can eat Zombonis. What a fun little quirky thing. You just want to make sure your chomper doesn't get run over. Also, you could see that these zombies sort of started to eat into my sunflowers a little bit. This is why we place the repeaters in column 4, is because you want to kind of to be able to let those rows go and not think about them for a while, if you can. In certain circumstances. And that helps that be more manageable to do. Unfortunately here I really had to deal with that, and the bottom row is just gonna keep being kind of bad, but that's okay. What can you do? Oh my. Alright, I'm gonna take the opportunity to get a Tangle Kelp kill down here. That's because the squash is actually really, really powerful for the final wave offense, so you want to try not to use the squash during wave 29 if you can. You can see that little bit of ice trail up here, but we, you know, mostly avoided it. There, we want to try to get as many zombies as we could. And that one. Nice! Good final wave! It was the progression that was a little slower there. Progression is what we call everything before the final wave. Alright, remember to go into the shop and buy the rake if you have enough money. The only time you should really not do that is if you've got no diamonds. And if your money pace isn't that good. Either way. Yeah, a way to check your money pace is around 3-5. How much money do you have? Do you have the seed slot already? Yeah. If you have, like, not very much money and the seed slot, then you're probably okay to keep buying rakes. If you have enough money, like if you have more than 500, I would say, ish, and the seed slot, then you're very comfortable. If you don't have the seed slot yet, but you have, like, if you have more than 5,000, then I would say buy the rake. If you do not have the seed slot yet, and you have less than 5,000 going into 3-5, do not buy the rake. That'll be my general rundown. 3-8 starts very similarly to 3-6. But the special zombie that they're going to introduce in this level is a bit different. It's called the Dolphin Zombie. The Dolphin Zombie is essentially the Vaulter Zombie, but for the water. It can jump over the first plant that it sees, and it's really fast. Even faster than the Vaulter. Pretty terrifying, to be honest. Here's a good squash opportunity, because I was watching the potato mine cool down here, and I knew it wasn't going to come up before the zombie ate it. Convenient mower kill on bottom. Helps clean up. And actually it helps save time because it happened before the zombie went to the potato mine. I'll take this shooting wave and set up for future waves, and also let this mine come up. I should have actually put the mine bottom because I knew that this next wave wasn't going to spawn anything on the bottom because of mower manip, but that's okay. Mower manip, for those who might not remember or who are just joining, is after a mower goes off, no zombies can spawn for 2 waves in that same row. This is wave 8, I believe. Yep. And I feel comfortable using a cherry bomb for wave 9 here. Sometimes you might not want to do that. Especially if you only have 2 repeaters up, you might not want to use a cherry bomb from wave 9. You might want to try to put another repeater up. Especially if you're just starting out. I am an experienced runner, so I feel comfortable doing that, but you don't have to. Take safer strats if you feel like it. That is something I will absolutely advocate for. Alright, here I unfortunately don't have a lily pad ready for this dolphin, so what I'm going to do is wait for this Tangle Kelp. Tangle Kelp is one of the few things that can just kill a dolphin. The other thing is cherry bomb. You can also put a lily pad in column 8. Don't put it in column 9, it won't jump over that. And a squash, and that'll deal with it too. Fortunately, I think I'm going to have to let this guy go to the mower. We just don't have enough catch-up time to be able to do anything to him. Which I don't want to do because you earn money from mowers, of course, but such is life. Actually, I'll just kelp him. Yeah, this whole bottom section with a cherry bomb. squash there. Yeah, dolphins do have about the same amount of health as coneheads, so they're often good to instant if you can. You also can technically chomper zombies from the 9th column if you do so right as they appear. It's very hard to do. That snipe is very difficult. I don't recommend trying to do it all that frequently if you're a newer runner. Only if you really want to see how it works. Wow, nice diamond! We got 3 now. So the 3 diamond threshold is actually really important in this run. If you get 3 diamonds and you're not using an excessive amount of mowers, you're very likely to be able to afford, or you're pretty likely to be able to afford something called roof cleaners. Very, very important. That is the version of mowers for the roof. You do not start out with them by default, and they can save you a lot of time. So that's something to think about, just in general. Ah, that's okay. All right, perfectly smooth final wave there. Good level. Yeah, big gold. Doing pool pretty well here. All right, this is a level that has a large variety of potential strategies. I am going to show off Torchwood here, but you can do this level in a lot of ways. You can see on that PowerPoint, there are a lot of potential seed selects here. I'm showing off replacing mine with Torchwood. But I think mine is probably a little bit faster. I'm showing off Torchwood both because I think it's cool to be able to see different strategies, and mine looks very similar to previous levels in this level. But also because it's probably a little bit easier for beginners. That's because Torchwood, what it'll do is it will make your P shots worth double damage that pass through it, and also give splash damage, so that means it'll do damage to the zombies around it. When a flaming P hits a zombie. Does, like, I think a half P shot of damage every time it does splash damage. And there's gonna be a lot of normal zombies in this level. It's another one of those that is supposed to spawn bobsleds and then doesn't. And then, so it gets confused and the game spawns a bunch of normals. So it's good to be able to have that splash damage. Really helps. Really kelps, maybe, if you will. But you also, of course, have to put repeaters down first before you can place the helpful Torchwood. I am going to stall this on me because I think our chances of Mara kill are pretty high here, actually. Ah, unlucky. That could have been a Mara kill, but we didn't quite get one. Oh well, what can you do? Also, yeah, feel free to ask questions in the chat, once again. All questions are good questions. It's a good way to deal with falters, which do come back for this level. My 1+ hour runs. Okay, I will tell you. So this is a good time because we're just kind of chilling in this level a little bit to talk about the ways to play this game. So, my favorite truncated category of this game is day through night. So that is just playing the day and night sections. Unfortunately, Flowery Andy, you in particular did miss the day and night sections of this run, but you can go ahead and watch the recording of that. Day and night differs significantly in that it won't care as much about money conservation, so you can use as many mowers as you like, pretty much. Another way to do shorter runs, and that one is probably going to be about 1:30 for beginners, and will go down to about 1:15 in general. I think that's a pretty manageable length personally, but I also tend to run a lot of games that are that length, so, or a lot of categories. So, you know, I'm biased. Besides that, another great way to run shorter categories in this game is individual worlds. So that means just picking day, night, pool, fog, or roof to just run. And a fun thing about that is that you, every single one of those is a sub-hour run. All of them. Unless, you're starting out on roof. Starting out on roof sometimes might be a little bit more than an hour. But it's still mostly going to be a sub-hour experience. Especially day is really easy to set up because you don't have to go into the file editor or anything. I will actually put the, PvZ file editor in the pinned comment because I didn't before, and it's actually quite important if you want to play individual worlds, because that'll help you set that up. But day is easy because you don't have to do that at all. Pretty sure this is wave 9. Yes, I was correct. But yeah, so maybe start out with day, and see how you feel. Day IW is a really fun IW. It's probably the most competitive one. It's a good time. Definitely recommend that. And day IW, you don't have to carry about money RNG or anything, so it's probably the least RNG dependent one. It's probably the least RNG dependent category. Although, for the individual world rules, all of the other categories do say you start with a certain amount of money and stuff. So check out the SRC boards, because individual worlds are SRC categories. They are main board categories, so you can check out the rules for those, and that should tell you sort of how it works. Also, y'all should all join the PvZ Discord if you're interested in running, because everybody is super helpful there, and you can ask any questions, get all sorts of resources. It's just a good time. But yeah, you can see how Torchwoods would be advantageous in that sort of latter third of the level. You get a lot of just random zombies everywhere, and it's nice to be able to deal a lot of damage quickly. Using that zombies eat faster if there's something in column 9 advantage there. That chopper was a nice way to save a little bit of time on that last wave. If the Zombonia is in the bottom or top wave, you generally want to deal with that by itself and not include in the cherry bomb. Although there, actually, it would have been probably faster for me not to. Because you're usually going to cherry bomb the center. There, I did decide to cherry bomb the bottom. But usually you cherry bomb the center. Alright, 3-10. Pool IW is another really good IW. I definitely recommend Pool. If you're not going to start with day. Well, start with day. Just always start with day. Day is a really nice starting point for kind of anyone doing anything. And night is good too, but I like Pool a lot. If you do day and you like it, and you want to branch out to a different individual world, Pool is definitely my recommendation. It's very skill-based. It builds up a lot of your intuition for other like parts of the run, and it's not the same everywhere, but it uses a lot of the same stuff throughout. So it's, the skills are transferable. For Roof, there's going to be like 3 different seed selectors we're going to use, and they're more than that, and they're all super different. So yeah, Pool, I definitely recommend. It feels manageable, is what I'll say about it, I think. And there's a lot of room to improve in it all the time. So yeah, 3-10, we do want to try to use our instance on these high health bucket heads here, but unfortunately we're not getting any instance right now early. Otherwise, you just put your 3-peaters in sort of this organization. You can see that on the PowerPoint in the bottom. And we're waiting for Torchwoods as well. Torchwoods will help us a lot. Unfortunately, this is not the organization I'm really looking for. I really want instance for this bucket head down here. We're not getting them. Alright, I'll call not you. Alright, I'll wait till something shows up behind it and jalapeno it. That'll be the protocol. There, I decided to do some Kangle kelp there. Heck, that's a good jalapeno. Jalapenos, as you can see now, get the entire row. Very nice. Tail nuts are like walnuts, except for they have more health. And also, in addition, they can stop Vaulter zombies and dolphin zombies from jumping. We'll see that with dolphin zombies later. Torchwoods are a rare spawn, so you're just kind of hoping to see them as much as you can. Spikeweeds, by the way, can destroy zombonis, so we're kind of waiting for that to happen as well. So placing them in this nice little column 9 area not only does damage to the zombies that actually eat them, but is good in general for that reason too. There's that spikeweed. Goodbye, zomboni. Yeah, using instas in the mid-game can be helpful, although I let this wave go for a little bit too long for that to make a lot of sense. Especially if you can find rows that have bucket heads with no torchwoods. Especially good for instas. This is a bit of an unlucky level, I would say, here, because we're really not getting the torchwoods that we need to go fast. Torchwoods really, really help us go fast in this level because of all the P-shots from all these 3-peaters. Yeah, 3-peaters you do not take in normal levels because they are just too slow to place down. They cost 325 sun normally, that's too much. But in this level, where they give it to you for free, they're awesome. You can see here that the dolphin can't jump over the tall nut. Nice and convenient. Yeah, you want to make sure your belt is moving at all times. You do not want to keep plants on your belt, because that will be bad. That means you're not getting any new plants, and we want new plants. New plants are good. Okay. Only one more torchwood to go until we have them all. Kind of unlucky. You're supposed to probably have all of them by this point, but such is life. Nice squash there to clean that out. Here, because I don't have a torchwood here, I'm kind of focusing my 3-peater damage on this row. Bruh. Tangle kelp. Yeah, I wanted to try to keep my jalapenos for the final wave. Or my jalapeno for the final wave there, but I didn't think super fast. Alright, unlucky. Only 5 torchwoods the whole level. That is pretty unlucky. Oh well. Right here. Bottom is going to be the biggest problem. And there we go. That's the level. Yeah, not the best 310. But 310 is a lot of luck. You can use your instas well, but it's a lot of luck. All right, welcome to Fog. This is an interesting individual world. This one brings in a whole new major mechanic, which is the fog that you're going to see on the right side of your screen. Now, there's actually something important that you need to do in settings, and I'll show you just real quick. Here's that 3D acceleration checked on to be able to play this well. If you have 3D acceleration checked on, you'll get this kind of fog where you can see little spots in between where it's kind of layered. It looks fancy. If you don't have 3D acceleration on, that's what it looks like. Beyond just looking really, really silly and funny, that's also worse mechanically because you're not able to see the zombies through the fog at any point in time with that one. So make sure that you have 3D acceleration turned on. There are certain monitors and computers that will not be able to run 3D acceleration graphics. It's pretty rare to have one these days, but actually I did pick up a monitor for free from an undisclosed location a while ago that has been extremely helpful with my Peggle runs because you can basically see every pixel on it, but it doesn't have a graphics card strong enough to support 3D acceleration from 2009. So be aware that that is something that can happen. It will probably not happen to you. But yes, so this means that we're not really going to be able to see very clearly. The only thing we can always see is the top row. You can always see what zombies are on the top row because their little heads are going to poke out, which is nice. But you can see on this level, because the fog is pretty far back, which puff shrooms are shooting on the 7th column. You use this shovel to anchor your 7th column if you can't see it, which we will not be able to in future levels. You can also just use audio cues to try to figure out what is where. That sort of plunk plunk is always going to be a cone head, for example, so you can just be aware of that. And then, of course, there's gonna be metallic sounds for bucket heads and such. This game is masterful in the art of audio cues. It really just trains you throughout the entire run to recognize these really nice audio cues, and then you just use all of the knowledge you already have in Fog. Alright, there I could have squashed that final zombie, and I probably should have, but that's something you can do. In the final wave here, you're going to want a column 8 top lily pad so that you can use a Doom Shroom. You're going to want to wait something like 5 to 10 seconds after the final wave goes boom, 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 for enough of the zombies to come on screen for that Doom Shroom to get everybody. And then you should be able to destroy it all. In most cases. Also, you can buy rakes for these fog levels, but usually you don't. Especially because I have 3 diamonds here, I'm really hoping to make sure I can get enough money for roof cleaners. So I'm not going to be buying rakes unless I need to. The fog levels are not as important to have rakes as it is the pool and the roof levels. Now you can see the fog has creeped forward, so we're using our shovel to be able to put down puff shrooms. Here you can tell that nobody is shooting that zombie, and the only puff shroom I didn't place down was in the bottom row, so I knew that I had to place a puff shroom down in the bottom row. That's something that you want to be paying attention to. Listen to the zombies, see what you're doing. Make choices accordingly. Also, we have the plantern in this level. Lantern's going to help a lot because it's going to help us see, but we're not going to be able to do that quite yet. We have to get enough sun up first. Also, hearing zombies bite after you place down a plant can kind of tell you where they are. You also can kind of hedge your bets a little bit on where zombies have spawned based on where they've just spawned. Here I hedged my bets on a zombie spawning in row 2 because the zombie hadn't spawned there yet, to my knowledge, but it didn't work. When you do place down a plantern, you're going to want that to be in column 7 on the bottom. Oh, actually column 6 is fine. I shouldn't have done it in column 7. Oops. But you do want to do it on the bottom first, and that's because you're always going to be able to see the top row. So you never have to worry about the top row. And that means you're only going to have one row you can't see, and then you can kind of make deductions based off of that. Planter takes a little bit to recharge, but it'll come back. See here that column 6 is actually just fine and leaves you more space to defend yourself, so do column 6. Do as I say, don't do as I do. Until later when I mess up. Or when I realize that I messed up. Alright, this is wave 9 here, so I'm going to use a squash on the higher health zombie. Also, yeah, sea shroom is kind of like puff shroom, except for it takes a way longer time to cool down. Just place them when you can. They will help deal with pool zombies. Actually, I'm gonna switch this. Funny 3 planterns on the screen. Since this is a 2 flag level, you want to use Squash and Doom at some point in the middle of this second flag. I'm going to use the Doom on the big wave, just because I think it's got plenty of health. That would be harder to deal with otherwise. Yeah, Squash you actually want to use twice if you can. And Doom usually only once, but you can maybe use it twice if you use it on the big wave. You can maybe get away with that. But yeah, a lot of fog is just see zombie, put ammo down. See zombie, put ammo down. Hope for normal zombies, because normal zombies take less time to kill than goats. That's a lot of what fog is, unfortunately, at the end of the day. Also, these Jack-in-the-Box zombies are new. They also have a forced wave 6 spawn, but we don't care about them that much because they don't have a ton of health. But what they can do is they can explode. If you leave them on screen for about 20 to 30 seconds, they are going to explode. If you leave them for less time, they have a chance to explode in the first, like, 4 or 5 seconds they're on screen. And that's called an early explosion. We do not like to see that. Yeah, it's super not fun. So you just hope not to see that. If they explode your plants. They just destroy them. So, they go, blah! And then, they have a similar radius to a cherry bomb, although a little bit tighter, I think. If I remember correctly. Yeah, and Squash, you kind of... I could have used a Squash on the end of this wave 9, but I wasn't sure if that guy was going to die any quicker. Unfortunately, I did use the Doom a little late, so we will have to be waiting for the Doom to finish off this final wave. You also do want to save a Squash for the wave 9 on this level in particular, because you can get another bonus football on wave 19. And you really do not want to be caught with your Squash down on that. Oh, that was a really bad level. I think I menued and did some other stuff in that. But, wow. Waiting for that Doom, it's brutal. Okay, so there the screen just showed a funny little warning message. It showed, are you sure you want to go into this level with nothing that can deal with balloon zombies? And the answer is yes, actually. We are sure. The reason for that is because this level is the balloon zombie introduction level, meaning that there's only going to be one balloon zombie in wave 7, not wave 6 this time, and one in the final wave. Balloon zombies can be dealt with in 3 ways. One, you can use the cactus, which is the plant that we just got before this, to shoot the balloon zombie out of the air. Then you would have to shoot it all the way dead when it got to the bottom. The second is to use the blower, which we do not get until next level, to just completely wipe out all of the zombies, all of the balloon zombies in a wave. It also wipes out all the fog, so it's really convenient. And the third and final wave is by exploding it with a Doom Shroom or a Cherry Bomb, or I guess technically a Jalapeno. All of those do work. So a Doom Shroom we will be able to use to kill the balloon zombie in the final wave. And before that, what we're just gonna do is we're just gonna let the wave 7 balloon zombie go all the way to the mower and kill the normal zombie that it appears with. And most of the time, because the 50% rule isn't actually 50%, it's 35 to 50% rule, just killing that normal zombie will advance us to the next wave. Also, yeah, this fog was, like, perfect in PB, and a really good RNG, good execution, so not saving time over this is very normal. So here's our guy. Now let's go ahead and deal some damage to this normal zombie. Unfortunately, it was on the water, which is unlucky, but let's see what we can do. And then hopefully the next wave will spawn. Yes! The vast majority of the time, it will spawn. Since you knew that that wave was wave 7, I knew that that wave was wave 9, because it was 2 waves after, and there we go. Also, that there's going to be more manipulation on the top, so I'm going to go ahead and Doom on the bottom. Also, yeah, most of our time loss is coming from bad zombie RNG and slow seed selects. Selecting your seed packets does have an impact on how fast you go. I'm both experiencing a little bit of lag, probably just because of the amount of things that are being recorded on my screen right now, and also I'm kind of going slow to show y'all a little bit more. All right, 4-4. So now we actually have the Blover, which again is a much more efficient way to kill balloon zombies, and we're going to get a bunch of balloon zombies through the course of the level. So we're bringing Blover now. Blover is going to be our replacement for the Plantern. It's going to be able to blow away all of the fog for a short amount of time. So as long as we use it rhythmically, we should be able to see a lot in the later stage of the game. But not in the early stage, because it costs 100 whole sun. That's a lot. So in the early part of the game, we're just gonna rely on audio cues and spawn manipulation to be able to determine where our zombies are. Also remember, you can always see the top row, so that helps. We are also bringing Tangle Kelp in this level because we are going to be dealing with dolphin zombies later. And Tangle Kelps are really good instas for that, instead of the squash. When you get spare sun, you do want to put down Tangle Kelps in the early part of the level. But you also sometimes want to put down Scaredies. It just depends on how the level goes. Yeah, coin drops can sometimes tell you where a zombie had died recently, which is kind of cool. But it's not a major thing we use, really. Yeah, not a ton more to say here. So if y'all have any questions, this is a really, really good time to ask them. Also, that sort of splash is telling me that people are dying from Tangle Kelp. Tangle Kelps, which is good. Yep, there we just had to shoot the last conehead dead because we don't have squash. Here I'm gonna actually see through the fog, so I know that the dolphin was on the top row. Because I want to wait to use Blover for the first whoosh sound, which signifies a balloon zombie. You do want to use a Doom at some point in the second part of the level, but I'm gonna wait until another dolphin zombie comes up, or another good big wave with multiple coneheads. Here I'm waiting to use a Tangle Kelp on a dolphin. It's better to use them reactively in the second part of the level because you can actually see if there's dolphins instead of the first part where you can't see, so you just want to place down Tangle Kelps and kill guys. Alright, no more dolphins after that. Funny. Oh wow. Another late Doom? I think those were just really fast waves afterwards, to be honest. Alright. Decent level. That's probably the best fog level example that we've had so far. Crazy Dave gives you a free diamond here. Thank you, Crazy Dave. I usually do buy the rake for this level, because this is kind of a tough one. The game decides to drop a puzzles level on you in the middle of the run here, which is kind of funny. It has 3 phases. One of them is this one here. You always have enough squashes to kill every zombie on screen in the first phase, so just find the squashes and do it. For the second one, you have enough squashes to kill most zombies on screen, but not all of them. So you want to make sure to shoot a zombie or two with a bunch of pea shooters. If a rake kills one, it'll be 2 zombies. Or you can also group up zombies into squashes and stuff. Alright, and then in this final one, we actually are going to have the Michael Jackson zombie, if you can believe it, come back. So you want to make sure you can probably hypno him, especially if he does not go close to the mowers. If he goes close to the mowers, then you can, just let the mowers go instead. And then you use the pea shooters to clean up whatever's left. And then you're good. Decent level. Could have been a little bit better on the last part there, but yeah. You can practice that vase breaker level in all puzzles, by the way, in the puzzles menu of the main menu. So that's one of the only ones you can very freely practice. I recommend it. It can lose you a lot of time in the run if you don't play it properly. This one has 2 possible seed selects and 2 kind of big strategies. This level will introduce the Digger Zombie, and the Digger Zombie is going to go underground all the way to that first column and then pop up. And then he'll start eating from the back to the front. So the Digger Zombie can never actually kill you, but he does count for the rule. So you can bring 2 plants to deal with this. You can either bring Squash, which you just retroactively place wherever the Digger comes up, which is what I'm going to show off today because it's the easier beginner strategy, or you can bring Mine. And Mines actually do kill Digger Zombies if Digger Zombies run into them underground, so that makes this more of a prediction stage if you do that. But I'm going to show off the Squash strategy. I think it's a little bit safer. And I don't think it's the kind of strategy where I can really show all that well how to do it well if it's an advanced strategy because of all the fog. I recommend just trying that one out later if you feel like it. There we go. Lantern. That does mean you want to save the Squash for the 7th wave Digger Zombie, though. Don't use it prematurely. Just shoot everything else that comes up. There we go. Now you have puzzle unlocked. Yay! Alright. Digger Zombie, woohoo. Just pre-plant the Squash so the moment it comes up, it's all good. The Squash, by the way, can miss targeted zombies in certain cases, but it will not miss the Digger, so you don't have to worry about that. If I say Digger or Miner Zombie, those are interchangeable. That's the same thing, by the way. Here, since this is wave 9, I do have the Squash back. I can use it. And save a little bit of time. Now, these are tough final waves, this one and the next one, because you really want to try to get this Digger Zombie in the Doom. So you want to try to do the Doom pretty quickly. Unfortunately, that often leaves some zombies alive on the screen, but that's usually a better option, especially if you've already used your Squash. And then you have no way to back up kill. I do recommend trying to do your Doom quick enough for that. That was tough though, because we just got unlucky and had some zombies that did not spawn where we wanted them to spawn. Rip. Alright. Let's go ahead and do a 4-7. This one, you also have 2 possible seed selects on. One where you take Squash and the other where you take Chomper. I prefer Chomper because you can get bucket heads in this level, and they're still a decent solution for Digger Zombies. But to each their own, both are perfectly fine. This is a 2-flag level, so it's good to focus on getting lots of ammo and sunup. Kind of the same as all the other ones in that particular respect. But it does include digger zombies now, so gotta be conscious of that. That's also why we are not planting sunshrooms in the first column, by the way. Because digger zombies come up there, we want to leave space there to deal with whatever's happening. I did accidentally put some scaredy shrooms back there last level, which was not the correct play, but such is life. Won't do that again. We'll be placing the scaredy shrooms in this column this time around. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, this is a really good time as well. We're just making our way through this two-flag fog. I can elaborate on whatever is piquing your curiosity. Yeah, that was a really good example. That conehead in row 2 was a really good example of why it's really good to place the plantern in the bottom spot here, because then I knew that the conehead was in that row from process of elimination, which is nice to have. Because the top you can always see. Now I can see everywhere, but before I could see everywhere. Also, it's good to put some shrooms in the water on this level, especially. The optimal amount is 16, as the PowerPoint says, but you don't have to do the optimal amount. It's sometimes kind of too much to think about. As I said, buckets. Yeah, dooms are another way to deal with that. I would recommend putting dooms in column 8 in this level if you're going to use them, because then that doesn't block off column 9 for more choppers. Fortunately here we are getting a lot of buckets. And buckets can be good, but only when you don't have too many or too little sun to deal with them, like we have right now. Alright, nice. Rest wave. Yeah, a lot of diggers is the worst outcome on this level in terms of RNG, but a lot of buckets can be just as bad. Early like that. That was really slow. Now we have enough sun to mostly deal with it. But yeah, before, not so much. Funny chopper wake up. No rink-a-dink. Not today. Another chopper wake up. We'd like to see it. It's too late in the level to use another doom, so we're just gonna be choppering our way to the end here. Oh, nice chopper wake up. That's actually very helpful because we can chopper this cone head down without having to wait for that cooldown. Good time save. Yeah, it's often like that. Digger zombie. Alright. Moving on to 4-8. This is another introduction level. All these one flags are. If you haven't noticed the pattern. We're going to go ahead and get the Pogo Zombie this level. The Pogo Zombie is kind of like an everlasting vaulter. It can actually jump over every single plant that you have. Except for Tallnut, but you don't use Tallnut anymore. So we get a forced Pogo spawn on wave 6 this time around. It's the only fog introduction one that's wave 6 instead of wave 7. And we're just gonna try to get the rule on it with scaredies and puffs. It's okay if it goes to the mower, no big deal. We will doom the one in the final wave as well. put down that planter a little bit early. I didn't have to put it down quite that early. Although it helped with process of elimination on this row. Alright. Hopefully we are getting the rule here. Got his arm off, so hopefully. If not, no rule. If not, though, the Pogo Zombie's super fast to go to the Mar, so no huge deal. Not a huge deal if you don't end up getting the roll. Could be a lot worse. Yeah, that wave 9 was 3 normals, so there was no reason to swash there. There was nobody who was going to die faster than anyone else. It's good to have squash sometimes for the final wave, just in case you miss a zombie or two. Stragglers. Luckily there, just the right timing to get everyone. Good level. That was really solid. Another good example. That was a good example of a 1 flag. So I'm glad at least we had that. Alright, we get the magnet this time, and this is the only level we're going to use it. Also remember to buy the rake in 4-9. You're going to want it for 4-10 and 5-1 especially, and it will carry over into those because rakes go for 3 levels. This is kind of the culminating level of fog. You want to kind of be ready for all the different types of zombies that can spawn, including bucket heads, digger zombies, jack-in-boxes, blah blah blah. We're a minute behind on the run. How do you gain that time back? Great question. It depends on where your time losses come from. So for me, I'm so far behind this run, there's no way I can beat it. I do have roof time save, but even with that roof time save, still won't happen. That's okay by me. Not a big deal. But you can gain time back by either going faster in the levels themselves, so like, you know, making sure to use instants on your high health zombies, having faster wave 9s and final waves, etc, etc. That'll all gain you time back. Or you can just not fail certain levels that you failed. It's unlikely, but it is possible to lose levels in the roof section of the run. So especially for beginners, you might have a first PB that actually loses in 5-4, 5-5, or 5-10 potentially. 5-10 is also a level that can vary quite widely in terms of time. We'll get to it. You can see why when we get to it. But yeah, Zomboss can have minutes of variance depending on how you play them and what RNG you get. Not usually, for if you get consistent enough, it won't be minutes of variance, but it's, you know, between skill levels, you'll have minutes of potential variance. Also, we have the mine here in this level, which is a major difference from before. The mine will, or not the mine, sorry, the magnet shroom. Magnet shroom will get bucket head zombies, will get jack-o'-lantern zombies, not jack-o'-lantern zombies, jack-in-the-box zombies, etc, etc, because it zaps metal things away. It makes rules with bucket heads especially really fast. Yeah, I knew something weird was happening there. I think that was an auto-scroll roll. Maybe? Yeah, row 2 was getting wrecked and I didn't even know, because I can't see. I'm waiting for the first balloon zombie. Okay, it was on bottom, so the magnet shroom didn't work there. You can hear I'm listening for metal. I was trying to put a magnet shroom in a good spot for metal, but didn't get it. It's okay. Yeah, this is kind of a wacky level sometimes. It really depends on the spawns you get, how it goes. you oftentimes want to use magnets like instant plants. Yeah, and a lot of stuff in this this level just costs a lot of money. By money, I mean sun. So it can be tough to deal with. Wrong gamble with the magnet. Getting unlucky with the magnet gambles. But yeah, zapping away a bucket head, for example, takes a lot of the wave's health away right away. Yeah, not a very good example of a 4-9, unfortunately. Did not go super well. That's okay. Although that ninth wave was good. But yeah, there's a lot of ways to gain time back in this level, or in this game. It really, like, it starts to make a lot more sense, I think, once you start playing. Sort of how you can go fast. How you can go much faster than you think. Thank you, Crazy Dave. Holding down space when you get Crazy Dave text is the way to automatically skip that. Alright, 4-10, this is a wacky level because it brings in a new mechanic that we're not going to see again, which is this thunderstorm mechanic. We'll make it so that we can only see part of the time. There's a bunch of different things we're going to want to prioritize in this one. First of all, starfruits. So starfruits are actually going to be one of our best friends from here on out in the rest of the run. They are really efficient if they're placed in the middle of the screen. So trying to put them on little lily pads here is a great way to get them to shoot a lot of zombies, because they have 2 bullets that shoot forward, and they're kind of in like these little directions. So getting them in the middle there is going to be really nice. You finished day? Good job! Congrats, you did your first day IW! And I hope you liked it. But the other thing we're really going to want to see in this level is magnets. Magnets are a rare spawn. You're not always going to see them that frequently, but we're going to hope to get at least one, if not many more, hopefully, throughout the course of the level. We'll see what we get, though. We kind of want to manip sea shrooms and pumpkins, because we're not going to be using them very often. Also, starfruits are super cool. They shoot 5 bullets, and you can actually take advantage of all 5 of those bullets. There are only 2 that go forward, but there's one that goes top and one that goes bottom, and one that goes backwards. The backwards one is really good for cleaning up zombies that are walking forward into your base, but all 5 of them can be used in a really surprising way. You can actually make it so that a zombie is shot by all 5 of the bullets at the same time, by doing something called starfruit shotgunning. What that is you place a starfruit kind of on top of a zombie, so to speak. So you make sure that the zombie is inside of the starfruit's hitbox. If that's the case, then all 5 of the bullets will go and hit that zombie. Pretty awesome. Also here you can see I put the magnet in this sort of like 8th column pool place. That is generally the best spot to put it. 8th column pool, because it'll be able to reach any zombie from there. Especially since we only have 1 right now, it's a good idea to place it in a spot where it can reach everyone. Here we do have balloon zombies that are not getting got, so let's make sure to use a blower. Usually you get enough cacti to not worry about that, but right now we only have a couple cacti. I am deciding to place them strategically on places where I've used mowers, though, so that the balloons cannot come wreck our house. Normally, you would put cacti in the water, because if you shoot a balloon zombie down in the water, it'll just instantly die, which is faster. But we also want to be safe. We don't want to die. Right now, we've got nothing top to help us deal with this zombie, so I'm going to try to be careful about that. And place a pumpkin to stall. And here, unfortunately, we're not getting a ton of magnets. It would be really nice if we had another one or two, but we're not getting that. So we're just gonna deal with it the best we can, which is by putting down all sorts of ammo, protecting things with pumpkins when we need to. And that's all we can do. There's a lot of balloon zombies getting popped. You want to make sure you have one blower for the final wave so that you don't have to worry about the balloon zombies that come in. And then you just kind of gotta react appropriately with your starfruit shotgunning, with where you're placing your ammo plants. All that good stuff. Decent final wave, actually. It was just the progression of that level that was slow, unfortunately, because we didn't get enough magnets. Alright, welcome to Roof. So as you can see here, a lot of different seed selects for 5-1. I'm not sure which one to recommend at this point, because they're just all fine. There's no real seed select that's better than any other seed select. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with this one. Why not? The absolute essential kit for this level is sunflower, cabbage pult, jalapeno. That's kind of the only things that you can't vary that well. Jalapeno is really nice here. Actually, we did have a question about the jalapeno earlier, and I lied. I forgot to say that it's actually quite good in certain roof levels, especially 5-1, because it will be able to reach zombies at the end here, where other instas would not be able to. We don't have the flower pot yet, so we have to just rely on the pots that we have. And that's what we got. We do have cabbage pult, starting from now. Cabbage pult is a pult plant, so it is able to see and shoot zombies from beyond column 5. Starfruit and repeater are going to have to be placed in column 5 here to do any damage. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, this is another one of those one flag levels that looks really different from the rest of the world. It's just kind of here. I want to save my higher damage and higher sun cost plants for bigger waves, probably. Here. Yeah, the first cone head you see being jalapenoed is usually the right call. I'm gonna place a starfruit here, and a cabbage bolt. As you can see, this starfruit is gonna be able to shoot both these zombies eventually. Makes it nice and useful. Get that cleanup. We also are going to get introduced to the bungee zombie. Hi, bungee zombie. Bungee zombie will take a plant and leave with it. Goodbye, bungee zombie. It does count for the health of the wave, but you're almost never going to really need to kill one of them. You can kind of just, let it go. In most circumstances. Clean this guy up with a squash. I should have cleaned that top guy up with a squash in hindsight. Not optimal, but fine. Yeah, one thing some runners will take instead of mine or cherry bomb in this level is pea shooter, which is sometimes a good call as well. I'm gonna let this happen. In the final wave here in 5-1, what you really want to focus on is which row you're going to be jalapeñoing on, whether you're going to need to place any more repeaters down, whether cherry bombs are advantageous at all. You can also use squashes from the behind on bungees to destroy them, which can sometimes be useful. Yeah, I think this is the right call here. Yeah, cabbage bolts unfortunately do shoot slower than pea shooters, so they are actually worse. So now that we have our pot, we don't have to do anything more on that. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to buy in the Forced Dave shop the roof cleaners. I'm also going to buy a rake. Roof cleaners do give you the same amount of money that the mowers do after each level, so I don't actually need... Oops, I'm doing a bad job with my seed select. So I don't actually need to buy glooms until 5-4, which is what we were saving our money for that whole time. So I can buy roof cleaners here, and then get money from them in the subsequent 2 levels to be able to get enough money to buy glooms. That does mean that since I am relying on that, I am not going to send any zombies to those mower cleaners yet, or roof cleaners. But after we get our glooms, I can do that. Glooms are an upgrade plant to the fume shroom, which we saw earlier, and they are really good. They're going to be helping us out in several levels going forward. But in 5-2 and 5-3, our best friend is actually going to be Starfruit, as I was mentioning earlier. I will show you how to use it effectively. So once again, you kind of want to think about the geometry of the starfruit, where those bullets are going to be hitting. So here I placed it in this column 7 spot because it was going to immediately hit the zombie on screen with the bullets. It's a good opportunity to use a squash and a mine. Also, unfortunately, this zombie is kind of walking in my base, but good news with that. You can clean it up by doing this sort of thing, and then jalapeno that top zombie. Yeah, placing starfruits in columns 5 through 7 are the most efficient. Column 8 is also good, but I don't recommend it early because it'll be more likely to get eaten. But like this is a really good starfruit spot, for example, that I just used. Because it'll see a lot of spots. I think we're in wave 9 already. Okay, I guess we were. Wow, that was really fast, actually, to get there. I should have used a cherry bomb, but I didn't think we were there because it was so fast. Happens. Yeah, vaulters are kind of annoying in this level, especially if they spawn a lot of them early. Luckily, the level did not for us here, so we got plenty of time to build up our stuff. As you can see there, jalapenos are really nice because they're kind of pot independent a little bit on where you can use them when. Oh, another diamond. All right, I guess we don't have to worry about our money. That's nice. Can actually let this vaulter keep going. Don't have to worry about that anymore. Oh, it died anyway. No big deal. Yeah, once again, just chopper rhythm is really, really good here. Use your choppers as fast as you can on the highest health zombies, and you're gonna feel very good. Make things go very quickly. Also, yeah, the squash mine combo is really nice because you can just place that mine down right away after you squash. Gives it the most chance to be living and stuff. At this point, I'm going to stop using my cherries and jalapenos because it's too close to the final wave to use those. They're going to be the most efficient in the final wave. Nice! Good level. I should have had a faster seed select and done a better job with that wave 9, because this would have been a huge gold if I had done that. Here, this top row looks terrible, so looks like a jalapeno and a choppy. Nice. Yeah, this is still a gold, even with those problems. Dang. That was awesome. I guess good example of what you can do. Alright, here I am going to do an example and let a zombie go to the roof cleaner. So this is one way to take advantage of your roof cleaners. One way to make them faster is to let zombies just go to them at the beginning. Don't worry about, you know, killing them. And the reason that that is going to make your life faster is that you're not going to need to kill a zombie right away. So you can see in the beginning of that last level that we placed down a pot and used a mine to kill the first guy. We're not going to do that this time. I'm just going to let the zombie walk. That does mean that some of our pots and sometimes some of your sunflowers will get eaten. I recommend not ever letting a zombie eat 2 of your sunflowers at the very beginning. That's too much. But if it's only 1, that's not a huge deal. You just have to be aware of the pots that you're going to end up being missing and how to deal with that later. I'm going to start placing extra pots now to help deal with that. I should have done that earlier. It's okay. Yeah, one nice thing is that if you place a starfruit in front of a zombie on a lane, it will always shoot, because it can always see that zombie behind you. Starfruits have some weird sort of tracking hitboxes, where sometimes they aren't going to see a zombie that they really should see, so that's a good way to help out with that. Yeah, I didn't get a overkill there, although I wanted one. Rip. But yeah, you can see just how efficient starfruits are. They shoot a bunch of bullets for not a ton of cost, and if you're able to place them well, then they just do so much work for you. We're also getting lucky here and getting very few cone heads, which is nice. Helps us go faster. Unfortunately, that pot placement was bad timing. I should have waited on that, because that was wave 9. Could have jalapenoed it, but jalapenos are really valuable instas. It just depends on what you're doing. I'll probably jalapeno this big wave. We'll see. Maybe I'll cherry bomb. Let's go for a cherry bomb. Wave 11 is going to be the first ladder spawn in this level. It introduces ladder zombies. Ladder zombies kind of do 3 things. First of all, they have a big ladder in front of them, which is very hard to do a ton of damage to, so they're good to insta. Second off, they can put their ladder on top of a protection plant, such as a walnut or a pumpkin, and just go over them. That will become relevant in later levels. And the third thing that they do is they go fast until their ladder is destroyed. They go really, really fast. So you kind of have to be ready to combat them immediately. Nice. I love it when a mine comes up and then the zombie eating it dies first and doesn't activate. Always super convenient. Oh, I almost thought that was wave 9. How long it was taking. Yeah, you want to try to use instance like Squash and Chomper to deal with wave 9s. That is not wave 9, I guess. Because those are going to be ones that are less valuable in the final wave. And the Chomper just comes back. So as you can see here, I actually have a lot of roof time save and any percent. That's my main time save area. That and night. But I never get the time save at night. I'm not very good at night, unfortunately. Yeah, oftentimes the final wave can be dealt with just the cherry bomb and the jalapeno. Alright, we're going to do pumpkin glooms. So this is our strategy here. We're going to start with welcome in the gloom shroom and the doom shroom. So the only reason we couldn't do this before, besides money, is because we now have the coffee bean. The coffee bean is a special plant that allows us to use mushroom plants during the day, including fume shroom and gloom shroom. So now we're going to be able to do that. Woohoo! Now, as you can see, gloom shroom's going to be planted on top of fume shroom, which also needs a coffee bean to activate and needs a pot. So that's going to cost a lot of sun. So we're going to need to wait a long time to get enough sun to do that. How we're going to do that is first we're going to, of course, set a zombie to the rake. Then we're going to see where the next zombie is. And because we have roof cleaners, we're going to send it to the mower. If we did not have roof cleaners, what I would do is I would plant this squash right here in this column. And just wait for the zombie to go there. Yeah, because we're playing pumpkin glooms, and that means we're going to be placing the glooms in column 9, I would advise you to do 2 rounds of that squashing. I'm going to let one zombie go to the mower and then squash the next one. That will get you enough sun to be able to set this up. Also, the backup for 5-4, you can see down here on the bottom. Yeah, that's if you don't have gloom or if you don't feel comfortable using it yet, is repeater torchwood. You can check that out on the PowerPoint. And that works about how you think it does. It's pretty similar to pool. You just place repeaters and torchwoods and beat zombies up. Consider the 50% rule and all that. Alright. So here what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and place a gloom here on column 9. And as you can see, it's kind of like a renewable cherry bomb almost. And I used a pumpkin to protect it from exactly the spawn. With Pierce, so it can deal damage to all the zombies around it. Extremely, extremely quickly. Glooms are unfairly fast. If you can set them up correctly. They are the best strategy, period. In 3 flag roof levels. Here, I'm gonna hope this is not wave 9. I don't think it is. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't use a squash on this guy because the pumpkin actually makes it so that if you put a squash behind, it wouldn't be able to see. So I decided to reinforce it there. I could have also decided to plant a doom shroom and use a doom shroom instead. So doom shrooms you can pre-plant and have them sleep until you want to activate them, and then you put a coffee bean on them. Kind of fun. Oftentimes you'll do that on 9th waves, or waves with big zombies on them. Like in this level, it can spawn pogos, it can spawn football zombies. All of those are possibilities. Yeah, you always want to start your glooms in column 2, or in row 2 or row 4, and then you kind of deal with the outstanding zombies. I knew there that this was in potential danger. Ah! Swash was just a little bit too late to save that gloom. That's alright. There we go. You can use that pot for a Doomstream at least. As long as you have your glooms column 2, or row 2 and row 4, then you're feeling a lot better. Yeah, this is the safest level, by the way, to use pumpkin glooms. You can use it later, and I probably will demonstrate how to use it in one level later. Maybe not. Maybe we'll just do garlic glooms on that one too. We'll see. But this is the safest one to use them in for sure. So I do recommend trying this. Because placing the glooms here so that they activate right when zombies on screen is just so fast. I should not have done that doom. Didn't really do anything. Yeah, the ladders are real pushovers once you, when you can either pierce them, which you can always do, with glooms, or once you destroy their ladders. They do not have a lot of health. Here, this football zombie is really gonna get away with it if I don't doom it. And it has a lot of health, so that's not a good idea. Here, I'm gonna go ahead and make an extra doom up here, or an extra gloom. That'll help us go a little bit faster. Oh, that ladder is gonna get away with it. Unfortunate. And it is wave 9. Get squashed. You want to place a doom just about here for your final wave. There's gonna be one yeehaw, and as soon as the ha is done, that's when you put down your coffee bean on your doom. And that's the right timing for it to be done. Sometimes when the ambush zombies come down, they will come down on your gloom, so you have to be careful about that. You get thrust into the menu here, so you gotta go into the main menu, go to the shop, buy the rake, and get into 5-5. Thank you, Crazy Dave. 5-5 is weird and really hard and really scary. This is the level that has the most chance of death in the entire run. The reason is because you've got exactly 4 types of plants to work with. Chopper, flower pot, cherry bomb, and pumpkin. Chomper's going to be your main source of damage, and it's somewhat renewable because once again, once you have a chomper eat, 42 seconds it will wake up and be able to eat again. And you can make that happen with a little with pumpkins a little bit more here. But yeah, it also abides by the 50% rule, this level, so. You can kind of rely on that. Here, I'm playing a little bit safer to kind of show what playing safer looks like, because I think I would recommend that for beginners here. Trying to make sure you play nice and safe. Bucket heads are good spawns, because you can just chomp them completely with a chomper, and then you get the wave roll. Yeah, cherry bombs are your rarer spawn. You want to make sure not to manip them, but also to not use them frivolously. Manip them, of course, meaning keeping a bunch of them on the belt, thus that the game does not give you more. Alright, this is the wave 9. Lucky wave 9. Don't even have to use a cherry bomb on that. Oh, this is not the wave 9. This is the wave 9. It's a worse wave 9. Luckily we have cherry bomb to help. We still have one guy back here who I would love to chomp. Fantastic. Yeah, this is a tough level. It can get really hairy sometimes. The first flag is usually not a huge problem, but don't get fooled. You might be fooled into thinking it's easy because of the first flag. It is not. Alright, let's check out what happens here. Convenient chomp. Yeah, you can see some of these chompers from before I've woken up and have started helping us out. It's fun. Yeah, you kind of want to minute pumpkins and pots if you can. Especially pumpkins. I was hoping that Buckethead would be enough for the roll, but it wasn't, so I had to chomp a Conehead 2. Oftentimes you kind of want to leave normals from previous waves until later, and then blast them with cherry bombs later on when it's more advantageous. We have 9 to city. I think we are. Alright. If you can leave a cherry bomb to the final wave in 5-5, do it. Also, the final wave in 5-5 is a really good time to use mowers if you can. As well, if that's going to be the faster way to deal with it. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Wow. That was a good 5-5. I could have even played it riskier if I wanted to. I wanted to show off playing safe. Yeah, of course! I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. Alright, we are going to be testing out a strategy here called Garlic Glooms. So this is a strategy that not a ton of top-level runners use, but we are going to do it because it is a pretty safe way to do glooms for new runners. I'm going to show it off in both 5-6 and 5-7, and then we're going to show off 2 different strategies for 5-8 and 5-9, which work a little bit better for those levels. So, in this level, they're going to introduce a zombie called the Catapult Zombie in Wave 11. The Catapult Zombie will go ahead and crush anything that's in Column 9, which makes Pumpkin Glooms less safe in this level than they were in 5-4, and it shoots whatever's in the back of this back row. Here. I'll just let that zombie get in the mower, why not? So that's cool. And it also means that we can't really use Pumpkin Glooms as well, because they'll just crush whatever's in the 9th row. So how we're gonna pivot from that is we're actually going to force zombies in the middle using Garlic. And make that kind of our solution. So, here's an example. I'm not going to use this now because it'll actually mess up my splits, and I don't want my splits to be messed up. But what you can do here is you can type future in your keyboard. Just type F-U-T-U-R-E while you're playing. That'll give the zombies futuristic glasses, and it'll make it so that they move quicker when they eat from garlics. That is a speedrun strat. Pretty funny. You can also use a garlic to protect your middle row as well. Kind of like you would do a pumpkin. Garlics just make a zombie move to a random row, but of course if they are on the top or bottom, that random row is not random. It is going to be the only one it can move to. So it makes it so that our 3x3 gloom radius is easily achievable. It's pretty easy to set up, it's quite easy to maintain, and it is safe from catapults, so I highly recommend it for this level and the next one, which will also contain catapults. You can also, though, use pumpkin glooms in this level and the next level if you want to. Again, I do not recommend that for beginners, but it is a possible thing. Top level runners will, of course, do that. Because it is, the potential to go fast is high. Placing that column 8 pot was nice because I was able to just make it into a gloom right away. You can also do something called sniping with your catapults, where if you awaken your doom at the right time, you can actually destroy this catapult before it destroys whatever's in column 9, which is kind of fun. But it's also a really precise timing, and there's no need to do it if you're playing garlic glooms. Don't recommend. Alright, so this... If I was playing pumpkin glooms, this guy would have crushed one of my glooms, so that wouldn't have been fun. So not too much regretting playing this way right now. Now we don't need the center garlic also. Look how many glooms we have. I was trying to get the next wave as it spawned. Didn't quite do that. That's alright. I was trying to do fancy timing. Happens. I'm gonna save this gloom for wave 9. Or this doom for wave 9 now. And this doom should come back by the time we need it for the final wave. This is definitely wave 9. Indicator says so. Good wave 9. So that is an example of how to properly use a doom. Another thing that I should have done was place more flower pots in column 5 throughout the level. That will make it so that those far forward ambush zombies are not going to run away from you, which is nice. Doom and copy. One more level till we buy the rake. One last time. Garlics. Let's do them one more time. Oh, let's not. I brought pumpkin instead. That's okay. Let's show off the harder strat. We already showed off garlic gloom. Not my muscle memory. Kicking in. That's alright. Let's show off the harder strat. See what happens. Garlic glooms work very similarly in this level as they did in the last level, so it's pretty easy to imagine how to carry them over. You just have a longer level here. More stuff to do. Yeah, next level we'll actually be returning to star fruits. Pretty interesting. And then the final one, we're going to be doing glooms that we're going to be bringing Chomper as our secondary buddy. Once again, if you did not have roof cleaners, you'd be planting a squash in order to deal with this guy. And you'd be letting 2 guys go to a squash with pumpkin glooms. Ah, here this guy's going to clean up that guy, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and set up a gloom here. The sooner you run gloom cooldown, the better. because then you can get more glooms back quicker. There, since I knew that this guy's auto-scroll roll was going to take a long time to finish, I knew I could just get up a gloom. A lot of this stuff is done by intuition. You have to practice a lot of these things in order to get better at them. Coneheads are almost never going to get away, by the way, from a gloom, even placed in column 9. Only the absolute fastest of coneheads can get away. They are just that good. Alright. I think here, use a nice little doom. I don't think there's much other way to deal with that wave. Nice. There we go. And then we can support this wave with the other gloom. The other necessary gloom. Yeah, the sooner you run pumpkin cooldown, the better as well. Both of them are very important. And then here's our 9th wave. Yeah, when you add more sunflowers, you probably want to do them in column 5, because once again, that keeps those ambush zombies from walking away during the final wave. Good to prep for that early. If you can. You also oftentimes want to plant dooms when you have extra time. Run that cooldown as well. And more glooms, especially because catapults can run ya over. So you want more glooms so that if catapults do that, you're not as sad. And you'll notice I also put these in the top and bottom corner. That's because the dooms are most vulnerable to somebody walking away from there. So that's where you should put them as well. Ah. Take my fume? Rude. Luckily it didn't want to take a gloom. If it had wanted to take a gloom, I would have had to react with a squash or a doom. That would have been a little bit tricky to do. Ah. Need to get one of our things run over here. This is wave 9, so I'm gonna doom it. Nice. So there you can see how you can get squished. A little bit hard to deal with. Oh. Not good timing. Yeah, bad timing. I used a pot too early there. Or too late there. Made it so that I could not, get down a, Oh, nice crush. And see, this is what can happen. No matter how hard you try, sometimes you can just get wrecked. Actually, what I'm gonna do here is something kind of different. I'm gonna pivot this gloom to a column 8 gloom. Was a good move. Fortunately, this has to be doomed because we're not gonna get that rule anyway else. Here, actually, I have a wave 9. Oh, it's not a wave 9. That's okay. This is a wave 9 I can deal with though. I'm going to be able to put a pumpkin on this doom, so even if an ambush zombie does come down on top of this doom, it will not get eaten. Yeehaw! Which it did, so I'm glad I protected it. See? That was still even just as fast as PB, even with all those crunching. pumpkins are really fast. They're pretty awesome. All right, let's go back to starfruits for this level, which is kind of a fun departure. We still bring coffee beans so that we can use Doom because it's really good. We also go to the shop and buy ourselves a rake. And let's rock. So, the special thing about this level is going to be the introduction of Gargantuars. There is a guaranteed one the 11th wave and a guaranteed one in the final wave. They can take 2 shots of instas before dying. Ooh. That means that's why we have all these instas. Cherry Bomb, Squash, and Doom Shroom all count. Chomper, unfortunately, doesn't. Really can't. So we're going to have to make sure we have Squash and another one of these 2 instas ready to go on wave 11. And we're going to need 2 of them for the final wave as well. 2 flags do really well with starfruits. You can even play starfruits and other 2 flags like 5-6 if you want to. 3 flags really benefit from glooms though because you can just set them up. And then they just keep going for the rest of the level. Yeah, here I'm just gonna let this guy go though, because he was way too fast in a terrible spot on the board. Now I can set up a bunch of starfruit stuff. Unlucky starfruit targeting there. Or lack thereof, I mean. So that guy was getting starfruit shotgun, if you remember I was talking about that earlier, where you can get a zombie to eat a starfruit or just be in the hitbox of a starfruit. And then that will make it so that the zombie is taking all 5 bullets at one time that the starfruit is shooting, which is kind of like a mini insta, almost. Very good. Should have put that starfruit in column 5. You live and you learn. I don't think I should have used the squash there. Will I have it in time? I think I will, for wave 11, actually. Because it's not the big wave. Yeah, it's fine. As long as I don't use the squash in wave 9, we're fine. And now we can use the squash and the doom to clean up the garg. Alright, so what we're gonna want to do here is wait for wave 11 to spawn. Then go ahead and use that. And then once the next wave spawns, we can use a Doom to clean up the Garg and also most of the next wave. So that's a nice sort of 2-in-1. Here, no big coneheads, so I'm going to just take the time to put back some starfruits. Convenient cherry bomb. Chomper here once you're too late in the level to use instas so that they come back later. Remember, you need at least Squash or Cherry Bomb and Doom for the final wave. here I can actually use Squash, so that I can just use Cherry Bomb and then Doom in the final wave. It's a pretty fast strategy, by the way. If you do it correctly. Not terrible. And I could have even done it better in several ways there. Yeah, it was likely, unfortunately, for those zombies to get away there. So I pre-planted a chopper to deal with it. Yeah, that could have been much faster. It was mostly my fault. Alright, Glooms time. We are back to Glooms, and we are going to use a new strategy. Chopper Glooms. So we do get Gargs in this level, but it's either going to only be in Wave 9, or not Wave 9, in the final wave, or it's going to be a Garg, or it's going to be Gargs in Wave 29 and or 28 and the final wave. So we don't really have to worry about them until then. And hopefully we won't get any bonus ones because that makes things very slow. But otherwise, we're just going to place Glooms in column 8 and let Choppers support us in column 9. That means we're not going to get run over by catapults. I think we could get those in this level, yeah. That bucket heads aren't really going to be a problem. We can just chopper them. Same with jack-o'-lantern zombies. Or not jack-o'-lantern, jack-in-the-box zombies. There's a lot of things that can spawn in this level. So there's a lot of different threats. We're going to be able to deal with them all with Chopper. This Chopper is awesome. Yeah, unfortunately, since there's bucket heads and stuff like that, that can't really be dealt with super easily with Gloom. You can't use Garlics in this level. The other possibility that you can use in this level is actually Magnet. You can see that on the bottom here. Oh, another time where we can just let this ride. So I'm actually specifically making this Gloom here because I know that this row is going to be manipped away from. So I would only have to deal with things on the bottom with like instas and stuff. And this Gloom is likely to get everything else. So I can just put a Squash down here to deal with this guy later. Cooldown's done for the next Gloom, and there we go. Really smooth setup. Alright, I'll take this good wave 9 to put it down a Doom. Yeah, you always want to be using every spare second you have in Roof to be placing something down. You do not want to be wasting your time. A lot of normies. Where are we? No, not the Doom! Ah, accidental bean. That sucks. Sometimes you mistarget your bean. This guy you always want to stop, because he can... He also can early explode. Oh, we're gonna lose that guy too. Man. That was a brutal mistarget, because that really screwed up my rhythm, unfortunately. That's okay, we'll get it back. we're trucking along. Yeah, that missed target really did not help. That made it so that we couldn't get more things up, but... and defend ourselves against stuff, but not the worst ever situation. We dealt with it okay. Yeah, that was brutal too. Oh man, and this guy's getting wrecked too? Wow. Chomper Glooms are usually more consistent than this. I think getting that missed target really messed me up. I wasn't able to set up nearly as much as I normally would be able to. Yeah, we're just gonna deal with this like this. Recuperate here. Clean this up. Good. I wanted to make sure I got the next wave in that. We did. Let's just chop our problematic things down. Now you can see here an example of adapting. Sometimes you need to change your strategy a bit on the fly. What? It crunches? What? What? It does that? Okay. Oh, interesting. I would not have expected that. Let's use the Doom on this next wave. Because then... I'm gonna reset this up. No bonus cards. That's good. Okay, fascinating. I haven't let Chopper Glooms get that bad in a while. Chopper Glooms are hard. They require a lot of vigilance. Unfortunately, that miss time there was especially brutal. Yeah, I knew that was gonna happen. I placed down the Doom on a guy who was eating it. Not a good idea. Alright, go to the mower. Have fun. That's another thing you can do when you have roof cleaners. You can just send everybody to the mower. Have the most fun ever. Everyone. Fun thing that'll happen. If catapults, don't see anything... Oh, I placed that too soon. In front of their face, they will move forward. I should have placed that closer. Wow. So that was a disaster. Unfortunately. But what can you do? Alright, Zombus time. Okay, so this is a really important part of the run, because it can lose you a lot of time. Do not do it properly. Yeah, 5-9 usually goes better than that. Just an off day, I guess. Also, magnets are a little bit safer on that level. You can also play that level with starfruits, which is something I've been considering kind of moving to. Alright, so this is the only level in the entire game where you're on the roof and it's nighttime, which means that these ice shrooms are going to work. They will actually be able to freeze Zomboss in place, and then we're going to be damaging him primarily with jalapenos, but also with these cabbage pult plants. Well, not just cabbage pults. We'll get kernel pults and melon pults in this one too. Melons do a lot more damage than cabbage or kernels, so we especially want to see them. Just kind of reacting to zombies here until Zomboss decides to come down. We can't do damage to him yet because he hasn't come down. You don't want the belt to get too full. what you want to do is you want to place jalapenos first, and then ice shrooms. Jalapeno, then ice. That kind of rhythm will make it so that you can do the most damage, while also keeping him on the screen for longer. You also want to try to do what's called a busless 3 cycles. So we're going to see if we can get one here. I decided not to do a jalapeno to him there because what you can do is you can kind of do only a little bit of damage to him in the first flag. So kind of under this little bar here in the progress. And then you can try to do more than 50% of damage to him in the second bit. Or you can do it so that you do, or no, just a little bit under 50% of damage. What you don't want to do is stay in the 20 to 50% health range for 2 cycles. That's what you don't want to do. That'll make it so that you're in something called a hell cycle, which is not good. Despite my namesake, I don't like it. Also, you want to make sure that Zomboss has already come all the way down before you start doing jalapenos. Because then, otherwise you won't hit him. You go above the P in progress here, and then we're gonna let him go now. Alright, it's not busless. We should have stayed under 50% for busless. That's not a bus, it's an RV, but we call it a bus. Because somebody did a long time ago, and that's how these things work. There's no 50% roll here, by the way. It's just do damage to Zomboss till Zomboss dies. The only spot that really doesn't work like that. A lot of Gargs. I'm fine letting this guy go to the mower if he wants to. Oh, destroying. That's also fine. Freeze everybody. Hopefully he'll come down. Wow. Yeah, unfortunately, so that was a hell cycle. So what I should have done was I should not have gone past the P in progress, in level progress down here, on the second phase. Because what that did was it, basically just, like, made it so that Zomboss sent a bunch of really high health zombies. It was even just generally unlucky, that one. Even with the hell cycle. But yeah, I made it so that Zomboss sent a bunch of really high health zombies. Not good. Unlucky here too, getting way too many pull plants. Not getting ice shrooms. Wow. We're gonna have to 5 cycle? That's so unlucky. Yeah, Zomboss came back really, really quickly after that cycle, so it didn't give us a lot of time to build up jalapenos or ice shrooms. Wow, so unlucky. Dang. Unfortunately, this is a really unlucky run for a tutorial. I also probably am just rusty. I haven't done this particular run in a long time. I've mostly been doing the shorter categories. Also, the game is giving a lot of pulp plants because we don't have, like, any on the screen. Okay, thank you, Zomboss, for coming back. But yeah, we definitely got hell cycled, and that was my fault. There are better Zomboss videos. There's a Zomboss 3-cycle tutorial in in SRC, actually. Oh, there we go. Hitting the Silver Sunflower plant is the final thing in the run. That's time. All right, I'll go ahead and run those credits. Oop, they're so loud. That's life, I guess. But if y'all have any more questions, I am here to answer them. Sunflower. I hope y'all had fun watching. and learned a little something, even though this was not a very good run in certain aspects. Ah, well. Should I rate? Good call. I know, I talk a lot for a really long time, often, so I always forget. Yeah, it was hard. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, you can watch my PB or other people's PBs for a better example of how to play the game fast. And yeah, there's a good Busless 3 tutorial on SRC that I should have reviewed before this, but I'm doing a lot of stuff these days, so. But yeah, at least we didn't die. That was a good example of not dying. And there's a different 70% tutorial by Warmac that already exists, but unfortunately, it was made about 2 years ago, and about 2 years ago we weren't using starfruits, so that's a really big change. We also weren't using the seed select we do in 2-9. We didn't do a couple more things, so it's a little bit outdated, but it is a better run. So if you're looking for a better performed run, you can look at that one too. But yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll also link several important links in the description, including the PowerPoint that we had down here, and other tutorial-esque things that are nice to review. But yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. After the credits, I'll go if there are no more questions, because I got other things to attend to, but it was really fun hanging out with y'all. And you can always ask me more questions in the GOTM. I know, I love the song. Laura Shigahara made all of the music for this game, and she's awesome. She still streams on Twitch sometimes, by the way. The cattail plant is inspired by her, which is why this is like that. It's very cute. But yeah, y'all can always ask me questions in the Game of the Month channel. Yeah, eventually, once we do Peggle, I'll be a more, I'll be a more competent teacher because I'm better at Peggle than I am at this game. But that's okay. This game's hard. It's really hard, especially to teach while playing. I can explain this game pretty well while playing, but teaching is even harder. It was interesting. It was fun. I'm gonna try it out. And there's what a completed file looks like in under 4 hours. Hooray! Under 3 hours and 45 minutes too. Which for how badly that run went in certain aspects, not the worst outcome. I would say if you're playing this run for the first time, expect your run to be about 4 hours, maybe 4 hours 15, depending on how many notes you took and whether you're using the seed selects that are advertised and how much practice you've done. Time to play the credit song on repeat when I do my first one. I will say, one thing to note about Plants vs. Zombies specifically, you do actually have to record the whole audio. The whole game audio to get a successful run on SRC. You can play other things over it, that's okay, but you do have to record the game audio itself to avoid splicing and such. Yep. All right, if there are no more questions, that'll be it. I will stop the recording. But if y'all have any more questions, now's the time. The music in this game's so good. It's so iconic. And yeah, good luck with y'all's first runs. Definitely run IWs if you want to, or day through night or day through pool. Those are great, shorter categories. I think doing roof on its own is a huge challenge, but also super fun. Also, I will link the save file editor, which only works with Game of the Year edition, I believe. Which everybody should have if they're running this game. Everybody should buy Game of the Year edition. In the channel and also in the description of this, so that people can go straight to roof, use the rules that are in SRC, or straight to pool, straight to night, whatever, and then do individual world runs. That's also a good thing to do. Yeah, I also, of course, recommend Any %. It's a really cool run. It feels like a big accomplishment when you finish an Any % run, especially for the first time. I remember still doing my first 80% run being like, oh my god, this game that I played for weeks and weeks as a kid, You know, I did it in like 4-ish hours. It's amazing. And you really feel a sense of accomplishment when you get faster in this game. There's a lot of improvement you can do. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad I was able to do this. All right, I think I'm gonna shut off the recording now. Bye-bye.